its head. The wind whispered warnings through the ancient pines as those hills echo with those desperate cries. Wheels upon the gravel, hearts pounding wild, whispers of a haven, just another mile. But destiny and terror is cruel and unkind. Bandits closing in, stealing peace of mind. Run, caravan, the bandits close behind. From Winston to Millet, there's no peace to find. Hold tight to your dreams, ride through the night. In the land of error, you must stand and fight. Wheels upon the gravel, hearts pounding wild, whispers of a haven, just another mile. But destiny and terror is cruel and unkind. Land is closing in, stealing peace of mind. Run, caravan, the bandits close behind. From Winston to Millet, there's no peace to find. Hold tight to your dreams, ride through the night. In the land of error, you must stand and fight. Flash of heroes in the night, phoenix flames burn so bright. Threats arise, they stand tall, defend the world, never fall. There are souls they fight for free, no reward, no luxury. First up front, they lead the way. For the citizens, they stay. Phoenix in initiative, never back down. In the darkness, lies found. Tireless warriors.
Did I almost get you caught in an awkward situation? I was trying to.
Oh, headbanging? Bro, no, that's not an awkward situation. I really like that first song, the Caravan.
The Caravan was my favorite one too.
Me too,
Yeah,
me too.
yeah.
I know the tune now, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I've heard it so many times through your streams and stuff.
Yeah.
That I know the tune.
Interesting. Labari is saying he can hear the air conditioner. We'll just turn that off. It's not that hot in Texas anymore.
It burns quiet.
I can hold on. My audio, I changed everything on it, so I knew this was going to take a minute for us to get right. So it's okay. Let me give you some more decibels. Okay, now let's get Burns.
Give me all them decibels.
Yeah. All right, so go ahead and talk. Is it better?
Testing.
Yeah.
Chat,
And then I also
chat,
turned
how we
myself
doing?
way down. Yeah, there we go. My gain was way too high. More.
Trish has more.
I want you
I'm gonna
two to
trust
interview
Josh.
Steven. Yeah, I don't think that's ever happening, bro. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think that's ever happening. Let's go up here. How about now? Is it better?
Testing.
Yeah, go ahead and give a test. Just make sure.
Copium 2-3.
Copium 2-3. Oh, that's funny, man.
How we doing, chat?
Yeah. Well, no one's complaining. Burns talk.
Oh, that's
Only
interesting.
Gotti says better. Levi says I like it. Okay.
Sounds like I'm on a box. Wait, who's in a box? Me, bro. Oh, let's see what audio input it's taking. Hold on, maybe it's a bad audio input.
I don't want to interview Steven. I just want to teach him how to better his gameplay. I'd love to have him on and teach him how to play cleric.
Who said that? Jeez.
Pocket. Pocket. You can't say things like that, even though we all want to. It's not appropriate.
Burns is in a box. Okay. How about now? Any different now?
That actually sounded a little different on my end.
Oh, audio. Hold on. Let's see. Whoops.
Squatch sissy. I don't understand why your audio comes through weird. I don't get it.
How's this? Is this better? Test.
Test.
Testing.
Yeah.
Still in a box.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Must be on
Same
Zillin
thing.
side.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. We're gonna move on. Mabari is an audio file, and he will nitpick everything about everything. So we're just gonna move right. We're gonna pretend Mabari doesn't exist. Okay. Levi says at Zillin at Dr. Burns, screw an interview. Let's just get in game.
Yep.
1 week. I was driving home with my daughter today, and it was 3:54, and I told her, I said, in 1 week and 6 minutes, Alpha 2 is going to start.
Dude, that's awesome.
I don't know that it's going to be at 4 o'clock Central Standard Time next Friday, but I'm pretty darn sure. Like, because they're having a live stream. That live stream goes live at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. So that's 3 hours, and this is not breaking the NDA because Steven has slipped this out several times in the live streams that this testing starts at 2 PST, which is 4 CST. And my guess is that's when we're going to start.
Okay.
Pocket said, let us pre-download. I suspect that's going to happen. I suspect there will be
Seriously.
pre-download. If I remember correctly, in Alpha 1, we got to pre-download. And a lot of what I might talk about today as we're talking about the testing and what's coming forward is basing it on what happened in Alpha 1. So we'll go on from there. Before we discuss this potential delay, because there is a potential delay, before we discuss that, I want to give a little more time for some people to start trickling in here. And so I kind of want to address what I consider to be the elephant in the room. Like there's a pretty big deal out there. It's wild, man. It's wild. I was just having another conversation with another person about it, and it's funny. They use the exact same terminology that I use, like exactly the same. So I'm gonna kick this off, Burns, by just asking you a question.
Yeah, hit me.
Is the narc era over?
I don't think it's over. I just think it's different.
Okay.
I think back in the day when he first made videos, it was really just the product of Ashes of Creation. I mean, if I've watched, I think every narc video just back when when I was a viewer, when I only watched content, didn't make any content, I watched every Ashes live stream, then I watched every narc video, and then I started getting recommended all the other creators and stuff from there on YouTube. So I remember watching all of his old stuff, and it was very systems focused, and he was just kind of going through all the different systems. And then there was a shift at some point, which then it went into some analysis, but then like a little bit of humor, and he was doing those intros for a while, and a lot of people were really into that. And then it shifted again over the past, I mean, ever since I'd say probably 5-6 months, I'd say the communication and the new drops of information hasn't been great. We haven't been getting a ton of new information. And so the hype has died down, and it seems like his focus has again shifted. It's a different type of content, and it's more like on him. It's more, he is the center of the content more than Ashes. And hey, he can do whatever he wants to. Like he has a following that loves him and that is very into him. And personally, I watched his stuff for the Ashes content. And if he made me laugh sometimes, hey, great, cool.
Right.
But I was all about the Ashes stuff. And so if he sticks with Ashes and makes Ashes like a focus and important in his stuff, then hey, I'm all about it. If he's just doing it to be an entertainer and a creator just with himself, best of luck to him. I don't, I think there are a lot of entertainers and creators out there that do just fine. But yeah, I'm just not interested in in-depth Ashes stuff. I want good Ashes content. I know Narc's audience is a lot of them come from Asmongold. It's hard to deny that. Mm-hmm. I don't think he invented all of these viewers from the Ashes space himself. I think at most, I mean, how many people do you think watch Ashes content? How many people out there on YouTube watch Ashes content in a 48-hour period?
In a 48, 5,000?
Yeah.
Right. Not counting Narc's content, because obviously he gets 10, 15,000 or whatever, but not counting what he does, everybody else combined. I've been saying,
because I think he has a lot of Asmon's audience that watches his
That's
stuff.
exactly what it is.
Yeah. And hey, good for him. And what I want is people to be brought into the Ashes space, and then I want them to fall in love with Ashes the way that we have, right? Mm-hmm. The design, to fall in love with the design of Ashes. I've never played Ashes. You have. But I've fallen in love with the design, and I think Intrepid is doing a lot of really good stuff that we know of. And so that's what I want. And hopefully, in a best case scenario, I think Narc makes really good Ashes content. A lot of people that aren't necessarily Ashes viewers watch his stuff, and hopefully they're entranced with Ashes again. But his more recent stuff hasn't really been that direction. So yeah.
So I have a couple of things that I wanted to talk about with our about Narc. So the exact terminology that I was talking about earlier that I was using, that somebody else threw right back at me, I thought it was really funny. I was thinking about making, a matter of fact, if I had gotten done with work earlier today, I had several pulls that were an absolute effing disaster. And so I didn't get out of there as early as I wanted to. I was going to make a video, and the title of the video was going to be Narc has lost the plot. And somebody said to me today, Narc has lost the plot. And I agree with that. But what's very interesting, this could have been me. That's what I keep coming back to, that, because now I wouldn't have gotten Asmongold reacts, and so I wouldn't have gotten the 50,000. But if I had just kept pushing out content, not caring about the fact that the content doesn't really have any value, it's thin air, all the things that Narc says about his own content, right? If I could have done that, I could have just kept churning out and kind of have him, every 3 months repeat the same video a couple of times, all that sort of thing. And tried to make Ashes of Creation, content creation, into a career before it's technically viable. And I chose not to do that. And I remember watching the arc of Jalan before Narc. And it was the same thing. He started out as like this hype guy, really heavy into the systems. All of his videos were like so in depth on the systems. He started streaming. He started smelling himself a little bit. It started getting, the ego started to come out, a lot. The asshole started to come out a lot. And then, well, in my opinion, and I'm not in these guys' heads, but as they tried to stretch this distance of time between Alpha 1 and Alpha 2 into a career, you start to get like more and more and more jaded about the fact that like, I haven't even been creating content this entire time. I've been chilling, waiting, and even I kind of feel like I have a winning lottery ticket in my pocket that I can't cash. Like, I feel like I know what my channel is going to do when the time comes. I feel like I've proven it, right? But imagine that you actually have, like, you can get 200 people to show up to watch you live stream. You can get 10,000 views on every video. You have almost 60,000 subscribers. And you're just like, oh my God, I'm living, maybe a decent lifestyle, but not what I would like to live. And it's right there. And if you guys would just hurry the fuck up, I could live it. And so you start to get more and more jaded, right? And we watched Jalon hit that and then crash. And we're watching Narc drive to it right now. I thought I would I got a message from a friend and it made me laugh pretty hard. He said, "You either quit content or take a break from content creation like a Zillin, or keep continuing making content and end up becoming a Jalon or something like that." And I was like, "There you go." So I will hope that that, in all honesty, that Narc is able to find some peace in whatever he's doing. My prediction is that Narc as a Ashes of Creation content creator is not over now, but it's going to end. Narc as a content creator won't end. He's way too talented and way too creative. Way too talented to quit this. But I think that the Ashes will, once we get into Alpha 2, and there's these things that he thought were going to be this way and they're not, and he's going to be he's going to be attack. The Ashes community is going to kind of move on or whatever, and he's just going to have that Asmongold group that loves him, and that's great, and he can go cover something else. So that's my prediction, is that while it's not over now, we are on the downside, and at some point he'll go cover, Quinfall or Pax Day or whatever.
I think that's a good prediction.
Yeah. You told me something today in regards to him. Do you want to repeat that?
Bro, I mean, I've just been saying for over a year now, be careful with copium,
right? Because
you can get strung out on that stuff, and that can mess you up a little bit.
Yeah. He's been strung out on it for years, and you've been warning. You've been warning.
I have. I've been saying. I mean, I created a clinic for copium addicts, so who knows? Maybe he'll be. I can't say for HIPAA reasons, because Sonny the lawyer will come after me if I say who's my patient. But So yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, I want a good ecosystem of Ashes creators. I don't want people that are that have ulterior motives. Just like what you're saying, Narc, he makes his living off of this.
Yep.
When I asked him to be on Bespoke one time, he's like, "No, I'm not going to. I want to control my image." Which, hey, fine, that's his decision.
Right.
And he just said, he's like, I make my living off this, so I take it super seriously. And it's tough though when the hype dies down. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Right. Just like what you said.
Like there was times over the last 3 years where I've thought about, I could do this. I wouldn't make a big living, but I could just every day, man, just video, live stream, video, live stream, and cobble together. But every time I was like, I don't think that'd be good for your mental health. Like, you'd just be on pins and needles all the time. And every time there was a live stream that didn't meet expectations, and so the hype dived down, you'd just be mad at Margaret and Steven, and it's like, that's not how life works. So anyways, I just wanted to touch on that a little bit because it's such a big topic right now in the Ashes space. Like somebody said,
are you gonna make a video about it or no?
I have thought about it. I might. However, some information that I got recently, I'm probably going to be making a whole other set of videos, and I can't get into all that, but probably not. So
probably wise.
Let's talk about the potential delay. I remember you, when they were in the live stream, the last live stream, you messaged me. I think I was at work. I didn't quite get there early enough or whatever. And you're like, "Hey, dude, this is what the live stream's going on." And you said, "What was this crap about potentially releasing the NDA or potentially not releasing the NDA?" So during the live stream, Margaret said something to the effect of, "We hope to release the NDA on the 25th. We'd really like to do it. We're really hoping that we can." I can't even put my head around that, if I'm being honest with you, about how they would even go about doing that. But I guess I'll just start with asking just the general question. Do you think that that's what they're going to do? We're going to get to October 24 and he's going to say Alpha 2 starts tomorrow and 100,000 people are going to come test it, but the NDA is still in place?
I don't think so. I don't know why they mentioned that. I thought that was strange. That's why I messaged you. I was like, hope? What do you mean about hoping? Yeah. Like, it has been all the lead up to this. They have said it will be NDA free. I mean,
Yeah.
they can change. What's interesting is if they market something and there's a bunch of video evidence of them saying it's going to be something, and then they change it. Hey, it's their game. They can do what they want with it. But the problem is when you sell a product and last minute you switch, someone would have to be insane to want to make a fuss, any kind of legal fuss about it. But the problem is you kind of do start opening yourself up to weird things like that when you start pulling back and saying, oh, well, actually it is, we are going to have NDA on this. And some people can make a legal argument that there are potential damages from that. And you can get sued for anything. But so yeah, I thought that was strange because this whole time they've said it will be like NDA, no NDA. You can stream it, you can talk about it, whatever. And then all of a sudden it's, oh, we hope. And it's like, why even bring it up if it's not a for sure thing? I don't understand. Right. Why do you think they would use that language what were they trying to accomplish with that language in the last live stream?
I have no idea. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I am baffled. It doesn't make sense. So here's my answer to this. They can't.
Yeah.
They literally cannot. As somebody else pointed out, you can't trust that many people. You cannot NDA 100,000 people. There's no way. There is absolutely no way you could have an effective NDA for 100,000 people. Somebody's going to talk. People are going to talk.
Yep.
No question about it. None. And if you get 100,000 people, there are going to be 50 of those people who are disappointed by what the testing is. Hell, some of the stuff that's already being leaked is people talking about disappointment and like the game crashed on me or whatever. Like you can already see those leaks. So it's like once you're disappointed by it, who cares about your Intrepid account? Record hours of footage and then put it up on the internet. And once it's on the internet, it's there forever. So there is no such thing as an NDA for 100,000 people. Like there's just none.
Right.
So during Alpha 1, during the pre-Alpha 1, during the testing that was covered under NDA before Alpha 1 started, they put an overlay on all of our screens that had this, it's pretty thin and hard to see, but it had like a code that was like your code. And every time you logged on, your code was there all over the screen. So you couldn't do that. One would assume if they were going to continue to leave the NDA up once Alpha 2 started, they would do that. So maybe you wouldn't get video out there, although you probably would even get that. There would definitely be people talking. People would be talking streaming in their Discords to their friends. That's going to happen. 100%. Talking about your experience, that's going to happen. So to me, I am baffled. There is no way they can be doing this. But her, what I keep going back to every time I think about this, and you and I have talked about this on stream, the month before we were supposed to get the original Q3 Alpha 2 date was the first time Margaret said, yeah, we're pretty sure. We think. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And we both picked up on it immediately. Several other people did it. People were like, wait just a minute. Did she not? Like, she was confident as hell a month ago. They were like, oh, yeah, we're hitting that date. They were like Ben Affleck and what's that dang movie with Bruce Willis? Dang it. The asteroid movie. The asteroid movie. Armageddon, yes. I will make that depth. That's how they were. Like, we will be there. We will make that date. And then, no. And it was very strange. The way she did that, and this is just eerily reminiscent of it. Yeah, like it wasn't her coming out. It was half under her breath, half while Steven was talking, not a declarative statement, kind of a wishy-washy statement. Like both of those statements are identical in the way that they were portrayed.
Right.
So let me ask you a different question. Do you think it's possible that they will try to go halfway and release the verbal portion of the NDA only and say you can talk about your experiences all you want, no videos or pictures, etc., and leave the visual portion of the NDA up past October 25th?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't think that they do. I think video game development, everything that they're doing, Steven's time is so valuable. You know, he's double booking himself for meeting times all over the place, and I don't think that they had proper time to talk about that before the live stream. Because I don't see what it would accomplish. It's going to get leaked. Stuff's going to come out. It's not going to be a good PR move. Steven has repeatedly said, hey, it's an alpha. Treat it like it's an alpha. What would a week or 2 weeks buy them? I don't understand. I mean, hey, I'm not testing right now. Maybe there's like some insane glitch or something that's going on that they can't quite fix. I don't understand what a week or two difference would get them. So I don't think so. I think it was a strange thing to say. I mean, there have been a few. I'm not saying I'm losing Intrepid. I'm losing faith in Intrepid, and agreeing with a bunch of doomers about stuff. But there have been a few slip-ups in communication, and I think that's as things get closer to the rubber meeting the road, there's going to be more and more stuff like that. I don't think they delay the NDA or put off releasing the NDA because I don't see how they do it. Exactly to your point, 100,000 people, stuff's going to get out. I just don't see that it's feasible.
Yeah. I really don't either. I don't see any way that it works. Any kind of way where they could do it. It really took me back watching her say that. And then the more, like I said, I thought about the previous, the previous time that she made a comment like that, it ended up being true. They needed to delay it. Who is Snacks? And
Captain Snacks, I've talked about him in a few of my videos. I don't know if anyone watching has knows or remembers those videos, but yeah, he and I met in New World, and we've been good pals ever since.
Okay, good deal. Well, Snacks, thanks for jumping in and hanging out with us. If you would like a real quick recap of the stream, Narc is weird. It's probably going to go away soon, and there's probably not going to be a delay, even though they kind of hinted that there might be a delay on the releasing of the NDA. And thank you for the follow, Snacks. I appreciate it.
Oh, Pockets is saying she did verify in Vladis' 1v1 there will be no NDA for Alpha 2. Did she do that in chat? Because I know she was hanging out in chat, Pockets.
Oh, see, they be getting me like that, hanging out in chat.
And then Galwood says,
okay.
Galwood says something kind of interesting, which I've heard rumblings of. You might actually see the verbal NDA end sooner than Friday, actually.
You might.
Wow.
You might.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Pockets has a clip. Let's go, Pockets. Okay. Yeah. Great.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, confirms exactly what we were thinking. It strange thing to say, though, in the live stream, but, whatever.
Yeah. It was, but okay. The NDA is going to be dropped. Well, there we go.
Awesome.
So perfect. That is what I want. In that case, I'm PMing Zillin nonstop. In what case? In what? Oh, if they drop the verbal portion of the NDA, you're going to be PMing me nonstop to get my opinions. Squatch, this is just me and you talking. There's nobody else. There's nobody else here. This is just me and you. So don't repeat this to anybody else. If they were to drop the verbal portion of the NDA, just if they were to do it, just me and you talking here, there would probably be like one video an hour for every hour for like 10 consecutive hours dropped on my channel with like answers to all your questions. Don't tell anybody. I don't want anybody to know about this, okay? It's just me and you. Fangline says, I remember they released the verbal NDA for Alpha 1 a few days before the Alpha started with a full NDA release. That's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did. And a big part of how I built my channel, the biggest explosion of subs and views and stuff I had on my channel was when they released the verbal NDA. And I was dropping videos every single day talking about my testing experience and during Alpha 1. Yes. So, I'm just saying. Just saying, if that was to happen, and I'm not saying that it will. That was Galwood who said that it might. Just make that real clear.
Even if you're listening, that was cool.
It was Galwood. It wasn't me. I didn't say shit. But if that were to happen, keep your eyes peeled on my YouTube channel.
I feel like, is there no one else here? Well, I've got Galwood here in chat who says, I swear, Elle says that every other minute in Voices of Era.
Yeah, exactly. We all going to be on Discord chatting it up, waiting for the game to go live. Yes. Matter of fact,
let's hang.
That would be really good for me because we have a guild meeting for my guild set up for Thursday night. Kind of like a last minute, here's nice. what the plan is or whatever. But I was going to have to be like real careful and like tiptoe around the things that I know and don't know, you know. But then I can just say, look, this is what we need to do because this is what I've experienced in the testing. Like, yeah, that would actually work out really well for me. I hope that happens, but I'm not.
Organized Chaos. Hey, how many people do you have for Alpha 2?
We have 26 people that are there who are absolutely going to be there for Alpha 2. I've got another 6 or 8 that I'm like, I don't know if they're actually going to be there. We have another 4 or 5 who are going to be there on November 8th. Because they got the later package, and I wanted to leave some space because we're about to have 100,000 people show up who don't have guilds. You know what I mean? So I wanted to leave some space for some new people to join in with us. I suspect we'll be at the cap of 50 in the first week, maybe on the first day. So yeah, we got plenty of people. Now we're not going to be dominating nodes like Envious or Ethereum or Axiom or any of these mega guilds, but they can go have fun trying to organize 460 people into 50-player guilds. Droog jumped in and said hi. What's up, Droog? How you doing, man? Hadn't seen you in a while. I went into hibernation there for a while.
Pockets is asking what guild I'm in. I've joined Ethereum, a bunch of mutual friends with my New World buddies and guys in Ethereum. So I'm going to be doing an interview with Alec here and putting that video out this week before Alpha 2 hits, and should be a fun one.
Yeah. No, that'll be a good video. I like it. Yeah, you're in Ethereum. I run a guild called Organized Chaos. And if you're watching this video, especially if you're watching it later because it's going to be on YouTube.
Ready to serve,
MF Cracker, thank you for the follow, man. Appreciate it.
Cracker, let's go.
Yeah. If you're watching this and you are getting ready to get into Ashes of Creation, it's the Alpha 2, especially if you haven't been watching much content, you're just now you're like, okay, this is actually happening for real. I guess I'll watch content and learn about Ashes of Creation. I'll just throw a couple things at you. Number one, this is not a game you're going to want to play by yourself. This is a friends and family game. This is a get together and do shit together. Not just because the game is kind of built that way and the way the classes all interact with one another and they all kind of fill each other's holes and they're all that stuff, but also for protection. Like other people can kill you, so so if you are and you want to find a guild, I think I would break down the most popular guilds and the ones that people know of like this. If you're interested in hardcore Sweat Lord PvP and that's what you want to do, Envious and Ethereum are the best two choices. If you're interested in kind of big guilds where you can kind of do everything, general you want to do all the things, Axiom is where it's at. If you want to not really role play, but if you want to try your hand at living the mercenary life, Suspect is where it's at. If you want a highly, highly organized, and I mean highly organized, like these guys got their shit together guild, where you also can do everything, Genesis is a fantastic guild. And if you want to be with a bunch of casual noobs and me, jump in my Discord, Organized Chaos, but that's if you want.
Well, and then Organized Chaos, you guys have a lot of erotic RP, a lot of Goldshire stuff from what I understand.
Yes,
so
correct.
yeah.
Correct. Yeah. If you're into that,
I think you guys are really leading the charge with that, very avant-garde. So yeah.
Now that's just the guilds that I know about and the ones that and if you're into role play, the Revis Order and Coin. And if you're
Oh, yeah.
into economy, the Black Talon Trading Company. Like there, so it doesn't matter where you are in the world of the game. There's already well established, well run, well led guilds that have been there for a long time that you can go look into. So Nexus is another one, by the way. Nexus is great.
Zilla, I think you found a potential recruiting tool. I think a lot of people are interested in the ERP of your guild.
Well, yeah, that's how we sell ourselves. Didn't think that sentence all the way out, did I?
And you were talking about filling holes earlier, and I was like, oh,
yeah. I mean, you got to fill the
let's
holes.
talk more about this, Dylan. Come on.
Leader of Axiom Subguild 57. Exactly. Drew says we're going to do a small Chaos Guild too. There you go.
Nice.
Galwood said join Zillin's family and friend guild, which will be full of ERP and selling yourselves and filling each other's holes. That is correct. Come on. Zillin, need a crew to protect your brother. All you have to do is ask Bud. Thanks, man. Magic Pipe, isn't that your buddy?
Yeah, sure
Yeah,
is.
yeah. Okay.
He's gonna be my bard. He's gonna be my buff bot. Just kidding, Magic. You're not a buff bot. You'll be way more than that.
Yeah. You'll be a pocket healer. It's not the same thing. You're fine.
I'm the cleric, so I'll be healing everyone.
Yeah.
Although to be honest, in Magic Pipe knows I'm not going to be healing him. I'm going to be healing the tank and the brute, or whatever the fighter is.
Don't get me wrong. Your mana buff is nice, but it's like the least nice thing. So you're the last one on the healing list.
Magic knows how to play his life. That's important.
That's hilarious, man. So we now have it confirmed. We're a week away from not only being able to play it, but be able to stream it and make videos on it and all that stuff. We are 1 week away. At this time next week, I'll probably be live on YouTube and Twitch. You'll be playing. So my big question for you, are you going to spend your first several hours in Ashes of Creation playing Ashes of Creation or gathering footage for Ashes of Creation YouTube videos?
Probably a bit of both. I'm going to be hanging with the homies in Discord. It'll be fun because, bro, we had such a good crew in New World. Too bad the game sucked because just an eclectic group of solid dudes. And I would get home from work. I worked with a lot of toxic people, and I would in Arizona when I lived there. And I would get home and I just take care of the family, have dinner with them and stuff, put the kids to bed, give the wife some time, and then just hang out with the boys afterwards. And it was awesome.
Yeah.
And so I'm just looking forward to hanging out with the boys again because it's been too long, and looking forward to wrecking some faces again.
Yeah. That's
How about
interesting.
you? And I plan to have OBS running the whole time.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously you're gonna have OBS running the whole time. That's open broadcast software. That's what all the streamers use to record their shit. Just in case anybody didn't know what that meant.
Yeah, screen capture stuff.
Yeah, screen capture stuff. I feel a little bit like I'm giving away my strategy. It's fun, which reminds me, I have a buddy that's from California, and he tells me in California you don't use your blinkers because that gives away your driving strategy, which I always thought was funny as shit. But I will probably, this is going to shock the shit out of people, I will almost certainly, I haven't made this decision officially and finally, but I'm pretty sure, I will not be live when the servers come up on Twitch and streaming my first few hours in the game like everybody will.
Like everyone else, yeah.
Like
Why?
everyone else. So I already asked Roshan or Vaknar, one of the two of them, about using footage that I got in testing, pre-testing,
Oh,
to just go ahead and make those videos that I want to make.
Smart.
And they were like, no, when the NDA gets released, it will be released from this point forward. So you cannot use old footage.
Interesting.
So,
That's too bad.
Yes. So I have a list. Well, here's some of them right here. There's about 75 videos on.
Clip that.
Clip that.
We need I need that.
I need that. There's about 75 video ideas on that
Damn, bro.
list from stuff that I have learned during the testing that I can make videos for. But now I know I can't get the footage. I can't use the footage now. I have to get the footage in. So my first few hours, when my guild is getting into Ashes of Creation and running around and playing together and getting to know each other and all of those things, I will not be in Discord or on Twitch or on YouTube. I will be all by myself with OBS going, recording my stupid voice and my stupid fat mouth, giving people advice on how to do this and that and that and this and this and that. So more than likely, that's what's going to happen. Although I will admit, there's a part of me that's like, I'm not going to be live like minute 1 of Alpha 2. Is that a good idea? So I don't know. I'm still debating it. But that's most likely what's going to happen.
Well, we're probably going to be in queues for a while too.
Yeah, you're going to be.
But I got the day off, so whenever they go live, but still, man, it's going to be queues. Because I'm sure there's going to be a crash. It's going to kick me out, and then I'm going to have to try to log back in, and then
You know what really sucks?
People.
You know what really sucks?
What?
When unbelievably fucking stupid people run their mouth about shit that they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Roar, you stupid motherfucker. It's public knowledge who's in the pre-NDA testing. You get a tag on Discord that's not private. So how about you do me a favor, leave my channel and don't ever fucking come back. Okay? Okay. So anyways, moving on. Can somebody ban him? I don't know how to ban somebody on Twitch. Moving on. So I have been wanting to talk to you about all of these Steven interview things for a while now, since it happened. I've watched the nice one, which somebody said has 100,000 views.
No, it's got Nice has a video on 64 classes that has over 100,000 views.
Oh.
But the Voices of Vera one that has it has over 10,000. The video is doing fantastic. But yeah.
Do I have to go like okay. Anyways, okay. So I've watched the nice one. I have not, and I will not watch the Vladis one. I won't give him the view. So you're gonna have to tell me what happened in that interview, and we can talk about the things that they said, that Steven said in particular. But I am curious if Vladis pushed back on anything at all, or if it was just straight question and answers.
No, yeah, there was some definite back and forth. It was interesting. There's been a conversation in the greater Ashes community, and I try to do this in Bespoke. I try to get hot subjects that there is, some friction between, and I try to have conversations about it. Get it? I think sunlight is the best disinfectant, right? I think getting difficult subjects out and having discourse about it helps ease some of the tension in the community. So I've brought up essentially kind of what Vladis was talking about at one point. Like Vladis asked Steven, why do you hate PvEers? He jokingly asked that. But a lot of the PvEers feel left out from Ashes, because the line goes, in Ashes, you have to always PvP in order to PvE, but you don't always have to PvE in order to PvP.
Correct. That's the line. Yes.
That's the line, but you don't. And that's what the PvE community feels, or some of the PvE community. And so he asked that question, and Steven really he chuckled like for like a half sec, and then he was pretty on. Like you saw his shoulders raised just a little bit, and his voice got a little bit louder and a little bit higher, and like he this is something you can tell he's heard a million times, and he's not going to change the foundations of his game. Which, dude, I loved hearing him stick to his guns on that. Because the problem is, you're going to get Asmongold. He's going to play, on whatever server he plays on. If he's on my server, I'm probably going to do it too. He's going to get ganked, right? He's going to get attacked. And then he's going to complain, oh, this is a terrible game. And then, I mean, if he gets his Twitch account unbanned, because, I mean, he said some things about genocide lately that were very odd, and he got his Twitch account banned.
Yeah.
But anyways, whether it's him or not, it's going to be someone else that's used to playing World of Warcraft. They're going to get ganked. They're going to be like, what? I can't just... There are consequences for my actions here? This is crazy. What is this? So there is a large... WoW player population that wants to change the fundamentals of Ashes to make it more like WoW. Steven said, no, there isn't a game out there in the space like what I'm trying to create. And I have a video. I've already told you about it. I'm not going to release it just yet. It's the script is almost done. It's how Ashes of Creation won't be the WoW killer, but it'll be the WoW savior. And in that video, I say a line, the more Ashes does like WoW, the more it competes with WoW, trying to be WoW, and nothing will ever out-WoW World of Warcraft.
Correct.
I mean, you say it all the time. If you want to play World of Warcraft in the Star Wars universe, you got it.
Yeah.
You want to play in the Elder Scrolls universe, you got it, right? Every game is a clone of WoW. So when we get an MMO that people are like, wait, this isn't WoW. This isn't WoW in some made-up universe. I had been slightly concerned that Intrepid, to some extent, would cave under the pressure. Man, it was Steven was resolute, and I loved every bit of it.
Yeah. Okay. So he just straight up said that's how it is. This is what it's going to be.
Yep. He's like, there's repeatable PvE content. You can do all that, but this is the way that my game is that I'm making, and I freaking loved it. Yeah, freaking loved it.
That's interesting. The nice video, the nice interview had a very similar question. It wasn't about PvEers. It was they did ask him later on in that lightning round thing, but no. Before,
it was an homage to that question.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But they asked him about difficult PvE content and what that's going to be like, some version of that, and he said this, but basically what you just said, like that's not what this game is. We're not going to have that. We'll have repeatable content that raiders can go do if that's what they want to do, but this game, we are introducing difficulty as PvP players or other players, and what they might or might not do is the difficulty. You don't know what another player might do or another group of players might do that are just right over there while you're trying to fight the boss or whatever. And I had the same reaction as you. It's funny if and this is never going to happen. If for some reason they ever did let me interview Steven or let me talk to Steven, I think I would start by telling him my evolution coming into the Ashes space and where I was when I first came in and where I am now, especially in regards to PvE, difficult PvE raiding content. Because when I came here, we basically had just quit SWTOR. Where I led
you were a big PvE raider in SWTOR,
I was a progression
right?
I was the leader of a high-end progression raiding guild. Like, we got server first on some things, and like everybody knew who we were, and that sort of thing. And a lot of my early videos, like I have a pro DPS meter video out there where I think DPS meters are a good thing. I have some videos
where still?
Yes, but it's such with a caveat. So I only like DPS meters the way that SWTOR does them. In SWTOR, they've opened up the API enough that you can download a third-party program, so it's not native to the game. You download a third-party program. You can monitor your DPS. Somebody can start a group in the program, not in the game, in the program, and if you leave SWTOR, go to the program and join their group, then you can see each other's DPS. So you can go into a raid or a dungeon, and you can see your own DPS and monitor your own DPS and use that as a tool to find out how you're doing and all that stuff. But other people can't see it and tell you what shit you are, which is what WoW does. And WoW, you can see the DPS of everyone around you.
Yeah, right.
And so I think DPS meters as a tool are very, very nice. I've used them as a tool for myself, sitting at the dummy for a long period of time, like trying, oh, let's try the rotation this way. Let's put this ability first. Let's try moving this skill point there, that sort of thing, and seeing what it does as far as actual pure DPS. I would personally like to see that, even if it was a DPS meter that only worked while you were at the dummies in a town. Now, there's the whole thing about lots of people can parse high on a dummy, and then as soon as you get them in a fight and they got to do mechanics on dummy, then they go to shit,
Right.
And so that's not a real good meter for that. But either way, it still is better than nothing. So that's how I feel about it. But at the same time, over the years, some of my early videos are in the this is how you could add hardcore rating to Ashes of Creation, that sort of thing. I was always approaching everything from a hardcore raiders perspective in this game, because I understand from my early MMO days that the risk versus reward and the conflict that they're trying to generate between players and all that stuff is it's a good thing. It's always a good thing in the long run, even though it may feel bad in the moment. Or in the long run, it's good. So my original thought was I want to have those things combined with my ability to go raid. But just over time, as I've listened to Steven talk, I played through Alpha 1, all these different things, I have realized that I think I was wrong about that. And I think that you don't need that type of rating. I don't think that I need that type of rating. I think that having a truly dynamic world. What I learned is that raiding is a stand-in for real content.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what raiding is. We're too lazy to sit together and come up with a group of systems that will allow the players to create their own content and the world to change and all those different things. So what we're going to do is we're going to put you on this hamster wheel and pretend it's content.
Yep.
And when it's like, and I'm one of those people. I'm always attacking my own ideas. I'm never satisfied with what my own thought process is. And so once I heard that, once I made that connection, that's it. I can't go back now. I can't unhear. I can't unthink that. You know what I mean? And so now I think it'd be interesting to hear Steven's reaction to me saying, hey, over the years, you've really swayed me completely in the other direction from all this. So, yeah.
I've never been able to ask Steven a question, but myself, however, multiple of my questions have been asked from content creators as they do these AMAs and as they do these interviews with Steven. One of mine got asked from Vladis. So bringing it back to the Vladis 1v1. So I had a theory. There are 5 castles on the map, right? Yep. Those 5 castles each have their own catch-all radius. It's not called a ZOI per se. It's called an economic region.
Okay.
When they use the term ZOI, that's just in relation to nodes, right? So the castles the world of Vera is split up into 5 different economic regions.
Can you hold on?
My question was,
Robert Barron just jumped in the chat, and he's a first-time chatter, so I just wanted to make sure that we acknowledged it. He said, I think knowing those numbers is important for PvP skill expression. If you are roughly aware of how tanky an enemy might be, you will be able to make better decisions than someone who has no clue. This is something that's only possible due to the quartile health mechanics, which is awesome in my opinion.
Yeah, I love the quartile.
The quartile thing is very, very interesting. I think it's one of those things where I know in my brain what they're trying to accomplish and why it's good, but I feel like it's gonna be weird interacting with it. Does that make sense? Like your brain is not. You're gonna be like, I'm shooting this guy and his health isn't chunking while I'm shooting at him. And I mean, for what 20 years we've been hitting enemies with attacks and their health's chunk in real time and not seeing that. Like I feel like it's gonna break my brain, but I do love the idea. So, anyways, Robert, I just wanted to thank you for jumping in on the conversation, man. I really do appreciate it.
So yeah, I think so. My theory was that in these 5 economic regions that the map is split up into, that you could only have 1 metro per economic region. I suspected that the baseline programming wouldn't allow for, and maybe this was even game design, that Steven wouldn't want multiple metros to be in 1 economic region. So Vladis asked the question: can you have multiple metros, so the top level node within a castle's economic region? And Steven said, yes, you can. So some castles, and the castles exert tax influence. They have different policies as well. Some castles will pull in way more money than others. So it will create disparity on the map for castles. If 2 castle sieges are going to go on at the same time, and they're supposed to be 2 hours long, the one that has the more money associated with it, that one is going to be the highly contested, hotly, the hot one. That's going to be an insane fight. And then the other one, if there are no metros in that, it's going to be like, oh, okay, whatever. Nobody's going to care about it. So I thought that was fascinating.
Yes, that actually is really fascinating. I feel like this is something of a departure from the way we were originally pitched nodes, specifically the zones of influence of nodes.
Yep.
Because if I remember correctly, and it's been a lot of years, y'all, so forgive me if I've got this wrong. The zones of influence were supposed to like stretch and expand. So if as a node grew and you grew its influence, it would actually expand. And I felt like you could like have your zone of influence overtake another node, and that's kind of part of the vassal system and everything else. But am I wrong about that? Was that not originally how it was pitched?
So I think, and chat, correct me if I'm wrong, when let's say you got a level 5, that vassalizes a level 4, right? I think that vassal feeds experience, albeit some limited, it's going to be attenuated somehow before it gets to the parent node. But I think that's how the borders change, because when we saw during the Node War live stream, they were contesting that the Oakenbane Keep, right? That was the Zeal.
Lord Forge just busted in here with 67 viewers.
Oh, let's go!
What's going on, Lord Forge? Thank you for the raid. Does that say $100? Oh my God. Oh yeah, I forgot you said you were going to do that. Okay, so we got to catch up on a lot of stuff. Lurago, thank you for subscribing earlier, rediscovering for 3 months, man. I appreciate it. Lord Forge, thank you for the raid, man. What's going on, guys? I hope you guys had an awesome raid. And then Penumbral,
Ready to serve, my
man,
lord.
been one of my longest friends on my Discord. Just tipped $100. I really appreciate that, man. You are awesome. Also, I did not catch who that was who
Ready
just
to
followed,
serve,
but
my
thank you
lord.
for the follow. Cash, how the hell's Cash Quest not already following Zillin? What's going on Earth? Thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate it. I really do. Hope you guys had an
Ready to
awesome
serve, my
stream
lord.
over there. Pocket says, Snow Elf, thank you for the follow. Pocket says, your vassal at node stage 3, I believe, for the first node to level 2 will
Ready
lock
to
out 2
serve,
nearby
my
level
lord.
1 nodes once vassal, they funnel, I think. Yeah, I know. Night Possum, thank you for the follow. So the entire system by which the zones of influence work seems like it's not exactly what it was. Matter of fact,
I think it is, though, because the borders are technically expanding of its technical ZOI, right? Because if you're a parent node and you vassalize something, their experience is being funneled to you. So effectively, your ZOI has changed.
Okay, yeah. It's just strange.
Don't make me make a bunch of graphics in the video about this, Dylan. You know how long that'll take me.
Jamba1972, thank you for the follow. Gen XOG says, all good stuff. I want to know what the Royer beef is all about. I'll make it real simple. I started making content again right when they started announcing the Alpha 2 was going to be this year and all that stuff. And it was about 4 months ago, something like that. And I was getting a whole bunch of views because I was making content. And 4 of the Ashes content creators, 3 really relevant ones and 1 irrelevant one, that's Roar, started passing around graphs behind my back about that was showing how many views I was getting, and it was more than they were getting, and accusing me of buying views on YouTube, which I would never do under any circumstances. And so I have just cut off all communication with all 4 of those people, and I don't know why Roar, like, he comments on my videos. I had to hide him from my channel, and like he just won't, like, just let it go, dude. I don't like you, you don't like me, let's move on. And he keeps showing up. So I was shocked when I showed up on Twitch. I shouldn't have got as mad as I did, but like just seeing his name really pisses me off. So that's what happened. So there you go. There's your quick recap of what happened. Texas man never buy views. That's right, baby.
And hey, for all the Lore Forge guys in here, we did just shout out the Black Talon Trading Company. We were talking about guild.
We did.
And although he was saying the Zone was talking about it as more of an economic guild, and I think Sonny would agree, but I think Jibs and Cash might have problems with that. I think the capital branch would agree with you, though.
Yeah. Well, I just hear Black Talon Trading Company. I just immediately think that like economics and crafting and stuff is going to be their focus, but maybe it's not. It has all 3
But
branches.
Hey, the East India Trading Company, they had a pretty they had a lot of soldiers, that's for sure.
So okay, so what you're saying is that Loreforge is trying to recreate the East India Trading Company inside. I can't believe you would say such horrible things about Loreforge like that, man. That's just messed up. But wait, there's more. Zillion's ERP program. Yeah, come join Organized Chaos if you want to ERP and fill everybody's holes.
A lot of Goldshire stuff. I know the Loreforged viewers are really into Goldshire stuff.
Yes.
So it's right along there.
Yeah. So, man. I want to say, hopefully you guys are still hanging out and watching. I know a lot of times when people raid, they're like, I'm ready to leave now. That's why I raided somebody else. I love y'all's content, man. I love what y'all do. I think the production value is through the roof, and I really appreciate you guys. I love that you guys decided, hey, look, this is what we're gonna do. We're into the lore of the game, and we're just gonna focus our content on that. And I think it's all good, man. So, and I do appreciate coming in with the raid. Loreforge is awesome.
So what Zillion and I are talking about is we're going over some of the live or some of the like Steven interactions, kind of digesting it a little bit, talking about it and some of the bigger points, because there's been a lot lately and we have gotten some new information. So we're discussing that right now.
Yeah, definitely. So
you want me to keep going with Lattice, his 1v1? Because there's more stuff.
Oh, you got more. Okay, go with more.
Bro, I took notes. I took notes.
See, that's the difference between me and you, Doc. You take notes. I just remember everything.
Oh, look at that. Whoa.
That's some bullshit right there. That's what that is. That's some bullshit is what that is.
Oh, man. Bro, my memory's okay, but I mean, I had to have a note-taking app, Anki, in med school. I was slamming those for forever. I remember first year of med school, people were like, why are you hitting that so hard? It's like, man, because I am blunt force memorizing this stuff so I don't forget it in a month. And it ended up working out for me because blunt force memorization works.
Yeah. When I was younger, my memory was so good that it was crazy. Like I repeatedly would get called out of class by teachers, especially in high school, and they'd be like, "You take no notes in my classroom. Your binder, that binder they made you keep with everything in it, is a disorganized mess with nothing in it. You never turn in any homework. You get 100 on all my tests." What's going on? I don't learn the same way other people do, homie. I don't know what to tell you. I didn't know how to answer in that way back then, but that was the correct answer. My memory used to be crazy, but I definitely have started to feel it slipping in the last 5 years or so. Anyways, Vlad's interview. Go.
It. Yeah. Okay. So another really good question was, so is every biome, and this is a bespoke question. I think this is a season 2 question.
Okay.
Is every biome going to be tested during the entirety of Alpha 2?
Can I predict the answer?
Yeah. I want to hear your answer.
Okay, because I
you were
swear
in season 1 of Bespoke. We didn't hear you say this.
Yeah. So I swear people just don't have common sense sometimes. I swear. The answer to this question is 1000% yes. All of the fucking biomes are going to get tested. Because you have to test them. You can't release a game to millions of players without testing stuff. That's got to be the answer.
I hope you don't mind, because I guess the question preceding this, though, was QA testers. So I'll give you this info. So Intrepid has multiple testing houses. So there's one in Mexico. They've contracted with a testing group in Europe, and then they have 12 in-house testers.
Okay. So you're saying that they will test the new biomes. Is that what Steven said?
Well, that's not what he said. I just wanted to make it a little hard on you, okay?
Because I was just going.
I couldn't make it too easy on you there.
No, I have been saying for years now, because several people have been like,
are they going to get tested?
And here's the reality. And I only know this because I've tested so many games over the years. You want as many players as you can possibly get to crawl over every square inch, every pixel of the map. You want multiple players crawling all over it so you can find every seam. Every time there's a little thing that gets stuck and makes a player be stuck in a spot, all that stuff. You want to find all of that crap before you send it out into the world. Not to mention, like, the new zones are going to have, like, new quests and stuff. People got to do those quests and make sure that they work, and make sure that if you accidentally skip a step, you don't, like, bug out the quest and then you can't complete it, and all of those types of things. Yes. Augments, classes, class combinations, all the biomes, all the nodes, everything is going to be tested before this game gets launched. That's the answer to that question on everything.
Yep, and that was the answer. We are going to test all of that, and what was interesting too was in the last live stream when they were talking about how they're going to hire other studios, other developers. They're going to contract with them to use their tools to make more content. So that's a fairly common thing. So, I mean, this is AGS does that with New World, by the way. They are contracting with at least one other studio right now to help them make content for New World, because that main studio of AGS, the AGS Orange County studio, they're now focused on the Lord of the Rings MMO. So they have other studios that they're contracting with to make content for New World. And but Intrepid is going to be doing that. So it'll be interesting because it's not all going to be done in-house, right? So everything that we're going to be testing as we go through, it'll be done with the tools. It'll be done with UE5 and stuff. But it's not all going to be made by the people that we know and love over at Intrepid, which I thought was fascinating.
Yeah, that is actually really fascinating. I certainly didn't know that was going to be the case. So X Reserve just said good evening all. Just wanted to say hi. Thanks for stopping in, Reserved. Droog said something that is partially right, but also completely wrong. and so I want to call him out specifically.
Yeah, Drew.
As a content creator, you should know better. Drew said game will be somewhat solved. That's incorrect. When this game launches, this game will be 100% solved. 100% solved. There'll be websites you can go to that'll tell you leveling what node will open up what dungeon, which will give you certain boss, which will give you gear X. Like, and if you de-level that one and re-level, no, this game will be completely solved at launch. That is one of the problems with doing the testing in the way that they're doing it. The benefit is you're going to have a game that the players over a long period of time have been able to tell you what works and doesn't work, and you can make the proper adjustments. And so one of the things from the NICE interview that Steven said he was so proud about his team was how well they respond. That when they get feedback, they're able to incorporate that feedback, internalize it, and turn it into actionable things, and then do it. And assuming that is true, and I believe that it is, will over the years of this testing, however long this goes, the game will just get better and better and better and better. And like I said, even though the game will be solved, this game is going to be a dynamic world, not a static world. So that it's not the same thing as like a World of Warcraft expansion coming out and all the top raid teams have already cleared the boss. It's not the same thing, because in the boss, in a World of Warcraft boss, you don't have a group of 50 players that come in and kill you while you're trying to kill the boss. Like that's the added element. The extra players being able to kill you is that added element of Ashes of Creation. So yeah, the game will be
completely. So much of the content in Ashes will be player created, player driven.
Yes.
That's the sandparkness of it, right? So the nodes that get created and stuff. Who knows? There's going to be a meta for which nodes are best. Well, it doesn't matter, because people have their own agendas, and humans are the most dangerous people. Like, they're the most dangerous game, right? They are harder. You can't figure out humans the way you can figure out PvE content, right? So there is an unending amount of PvP content to be had, and I can't freaking wait.
Yes. That's exactly correct. Anything else from that interview?
Yes, the death debuff. Right after the "Do you hate PvEers" joke, Vladis was asking about the penalties for dying, and Steven said that you experience a death debuff that has stat dampening and lasts about 10 minutes, and it sounds like the death debuff will also change your respawn, either rate or like where you can respawn, stuff like that. Steven said there's also XP debt, and along with that XP debt, there is stat dampening as well that comes along with that. So if you keep dying and you get the death debuff, and then you get XP debt, and so your stats get dampened decently, apparently. And then you drop materials. And then if you're flagged, though, if you fight back, flagging decreases these bad things, is what Steven said.
Interesting. He said when you die, there's a stat debuff, a stat dampening debuff?
There's a death debuff. And that and I wrote this down specifically because what comes from that death debuff is stat dampening, and it controls when you can respawn and where you can respawn, and that lasts. That is a time thing. That's not something you work off. What you work off is the XP
Interesting. Okay.
So there is a time and work component to it. It's not just one or the other. Because I know a lot of people are like, I'll just go red and then I'll log off and I'll come back. It's like, well, that ain't the way it works.
Wait a second. You're talking about a red player specifically?
Well, that's a little different. So slightly different. But no. This is just with anyone who dies.
Anyone who dies anywhere in the game. Like if you're just fighting a deer or a wolf.
Yeah, exactly. If you're fighting in the open world, obviously there are, like in a caravan, you don't experience XP debt, right?
Mr. Noobtastic says, I love how Steven said death means you failed and you should feel like a failure. He said
100%.
that.
Yes, it was great.
Oh, I love Steven so much. He's like the most based guy I think that exists on Earth. Jesus, man.
Bro, welcome back to Stakes.
I said it with a smile, too. I love it. Now, I will say, I don't really agree with a stat dampening debuff after you die that has a time factor to it. So, okay, so I played Dark Age of Camelot. Everybody knows that. I'm old.
Yep.
Yeah, we got it.
Yep. Bunch of Intrepid guys played Daok,
yeah,
too.
when you died in Daok, you got a death debuff, and it was, you lose some some health. There might have been a couple other things involved with it. But if you went back to your grave where you died, there'd be a grave on the ground with your name on it. You could /pray, and you would recover a little bit of XP debt, because that game had XP debt as well, and your death debuff would go away. So, depending on how long your death debuff is, if it's a minute, okay, fine. But if it's like 10 minutes, you're effectively lesser for 10 minutes. Like, I'm not a big fan of putting players in a position where they're like, well, I guess for 10 minutes I'll sit here.
Yeah, and Steven said 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
Nubtastic brought that up, and that is right. That's exactly what he said.
Yeah. Mr. Noobtastic says the death debuff varies based on how you died and how often.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, let's see people try AFK macro with death penalty. That's for sure.
100%.
Yeah, and so yeah, there's definitely. I see some advantages to it from that
and
perspective,
bots and stuff.
and from the bots perspective and stuff. I can see that, but it's like you're already in a situation where the game's tough, and you hold on. Don't want to get in trouble. I'm just gonna say you're gonna die. I made a video 4 years ago called "You're Gonna Die" in Ashes of Creation. You're gonna die. And so sometimes you're going to die in some reasons that are not your fault, that aren't your problem, that were somebody else caused, or the game crashed, or your computer crashed, or your power went out, or your internet went out, or whatever, and now you got to deal with these. I don't know. I definitely have to get in the game and see what it feels like. But I can tell you my gut reaction is like, I think I'd rather have some type of system where you could go remove the debuff, even if it wasn't necessarily easy. But like somebody said on the thing about the praying at your grave, you had to get back to your grave, which at your grave was something that killed you. So it's not like it's easy to get back to your grave. So anyways, but Penumbra says, but if you die, you're a failure. So there you go.
Yeah, and Nubtastic is right again. He said something along the lines of a fight has to have an end with a winner and a loser.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand when, you're playing.
That's a good point.
I did this in WoW, in 2004. We went and we all mounted up and we went and we just started wrecking people. And it was this unending fight. Like, we would just wipe them and then they would come back and attack us. We'd wipe them again and they'd come right back. And zero consequences for that. Now, if we wipe them, there's a stack of debuff. Oh, and they come right back. There's another stack of debuff.
Yeah.
Oh, they come back. And so it starts becoming, hey, we are the clear winners here.
Right.
And
I like
you guys
that.
have
I hadn't
lost.
thought about that.
Yeah.
That's a really, really good point. Can I just say that having Mr. Noobtastic in chat is always incredible. Like, I really do appreciate your knowledge of the game. And we got Galwood in here, too. And it's like, if we could just get Sneckers and Dante in here, like, they could just rewrite the entire wiki from memory. just those four guys by themselves. No, I really appreciate you guys and your just unbelievable passion and knowledge of this game. It's wild. That's why I always know I can just be like, Chad, am I wrong on this? Because I might be, and one of them guys will jump in and let me know how wrong I am.
Dude, so, and just on that real quick, I think the Ashes community is special. We're in a point in time right now where people who are interested in the design of the game are here.
Yes.
The problem is when we get the big creators that are coming in, we're going to get people who Steven is selling strawberry ice cream, and people are going to be like, why is he selling strawberry ice cream? I wanted chocolate. And they're still going to take a bite of the strawberry ice cream, and everyone's going to be like, well, how is it? And they're like, it tastes terrible. I hate it. I want it to be more like chocolate. That's what's going to happen. And I think we're in a lucky spot right now where, we have people who are interested in the game for what it is. And I'm just soaking it up right now because things are going to change.
If you think about it, that you actually just made me sad. You actually just made me really sad. We basically have a week left of having an awesome Ashes community. Because this community is going to go to shit. I hope y'all realize that.
It's going to be a lot different.
It's going to be a lot different in a week. But
then, honestly, because Alpha 2 isn't going to be short, so I think we will gain a lot of people in the long run. But, let's say like 6-7 months into Alpha 2, do you think all of the chocolate ice cream enjoyers are going to want to be hanging around still? No, they're going to be back playing Season of Discovery Season 20 or, some other WoW expansion. And just like Asmongold, because Asmongold, while he flirts with Intrepid and Ashes of Creation, he will always go back to WoW. Yep. He always does. That's his one true love in life. And I think Lazy Peon, though, I think he's legit. Like I've watched a bunch of his stuff. I think he will likely stick around. I obviously probably not play a ton during the lulls of Alpha 2, but I think he's going to stick around for a long time with Ashes.
Yeah, I do too. Magic Pipe just said Season of Discovery Season 20 hype. Oh, that's so funny. Mr. Nib Tactic says the city can go to shit, but we've established awesome neighborhoods, so we'll be good. And there's a lot of truth in that. There's a lot of truth in that, but it's definitely I remember in Alpha 1, and there may be some arrogance to this, some arrogance in thinking you've made it because my YouTube channel was blowing up and everybody was talking to me. I was like the new it thing, right? I was like the hot girl that just moved to a new high school. Okay, and so when somebody would come in my chat during Alpha 1 and be like, "What is this? This Ashes of what is this?" I'd be like, "What do you live under a fucking rock? I've been making YouTube videos about this for 6 months now." Super Number says you wish, and thank you for the follow, by the way, Ambrose. Appreciate it. But yeah, I was always shocked when new people came in who I was like, how did you not know about this project? It's like a big fucking deal. Did you not see the Lazy Peon video? That was kind of in the back of my head. But now I definitely realize that there's a lot of... Like, I was talking to a guy the other day who's been playing WoW for like 8 years and had no clue about Ashes of Creation. Had never heard the term Ashes of Creation in his life. And I'm like, you're an MMO player. Like, how? But the reality is they do exist. And so they're going to be coming in. And like you said, they're going to be demanding their chocolate ice cream. We're not going to give them chocolate ice cream. But what I'm hoping is that a whole lot of people go, damn, strawberry ice cream's pretty good. I still like chocolate ice cream, but I might like strawberry better. And that's where we go. That's what I'm hoping.
Wispnor is asking about a Mountain Dew. Bro, I do love a good Dew, but man, I have to do Diet Dew now because of the sugar. So I don't have too much Dew. I'll do a bubbly. I'm an old man. Okay, let me finish up with the Vladis thing real quick. I got two other points.
Hold on, I got one other point. Diet?
Yeah. Can we talk about it? The science behind it?
Bro, you're like... Well, how tall are you? 6'1"?
Yeah. That's pretty good. Well done.
You're like 6'1", 165.
No, that's insulting. That is insulting. 165. Yeah, 165. Soaking wet, fully clothed. You got bricks in your pockets.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're fine. Enjoy a damn soda every once in a while, man.
Yeah, no. Appreciate it. And I do every now and then. When we go on vacation, I gain like 10 pounds when we go on vacation because then my diet can be whatever. But no, I'll have you know, I weigh 185. Yeah.
Bro, do you know how good I would look at 185? Do you have any clue? Do you have any clue? But that's never gonna happen. So I guess
But
we'll
hey,
move on.
I just and for chat, just for the record, I did just send Zillan a picture of his older, more spacious self, and then juxtaposing it with his current,
Perfect.
more svelte physique.
Mibari just says fat. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're wondering what it's like to be one of my friends, that's it right there. You get to just say the word you're looking for is fat, and I'll just laugh about it.
I was trying to be delicate.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you should have learned this about me already. You ain't got to be delicate around me, homie. You're not going to fit me. I don't care what you do.
But anyways, I was just saying.
Yes,
Make
Vladis,
fat shaming normal again.
Make fat shaming normal again. We shouldn't even say that out loud on Twitch.
I think Azray and I agree on too many things. That we agree on a lot of things. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Just throw that out there. All right. So you got
Hashtag
2 more
healthy at
points
every
on.
weight is a dangerous propaganda. But anyways, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You got 2 more points on the Vladis interview. Hit them.
2 more points. Okay. Sorry, read some funny chat. Okay, so Vladis asked, with the augments, are they going to just be flavor, or are they going to be substantive and meaningful? Steven said,
Wait! Can I predict the answer?
yes.
So, I have had this video idea in my head for 2 months now, 3 months now. And
Okay.
the video title would have been something like, yes, Ashes of Creation really has 64 different classes.
Okay.
And the crux of the video, what I realized, it was one day, again, because I'm always attacking my own ideas, because I've been one of the ones who says it's 8 classes with a little flavor. I've been saying that for years. But I attack my own ideas. I'm always thinking about my own ideas, and it's even worse now that I have a job where I'm by myself and I'm not bothered at all, and it's a mindless, brainless job, so I can just like be thinking about shit while I'm cleaning pools.
Oh, that sounds great.
It's amazing. I had this realization. So we're gonna talk SWOTOR for a second. I'm gonna throw a little bit of SWOTOR jargon at you, but not much. You're gonna be able to follow the conversation. Everyone will. Okay.
I mean, I played SWOTOR.
Yeah. SWOTOR has 3 tank classes. Okay? We're going to talk about Republic side, whatever. They have the Guardian, they have the Vanguard, and they have the Shadow. Okay? All 3 of them have a gap closer. All 3 of them have a taunt. All 3 of them have an area taunt. 2 of the 3 have a pull. 2 of the 3 have a push. One of the pushes is single target, but pushes them really far back. One of the pushes is an AoE. All of them have a relatively high cooldown single target ability that draws a whole bunch of threat. All 3 of them have a spammable AoE so that they can gather up small groups of enemies and get threat on them. They effectively all play pretty much identical.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody is saying it's really only one tank class.
Yeah.
The difference is feel. It's the gap closer of the Vanguard. You like run forward and leap forward and hit with your gun. You feel like a stormtrooper or a clone trooper doing that. The Guardian one, you flip through the air and land next to him or whatever. You feel like a Jedi Knight. The Shadow one, you like disappear and reappear in front of him almost like a blink. You feel like a Jedi Consular. They're all 3 the same fucking ability. They all do the same thing. You were there and now you're there. Like, it's really simple. The difference, and it made me realize, I started thinking about this. The difference in classes is feel. It's the power fantasy. It's the class fantasy. It's the fantasy that you want to have of that. And so I started looking through the 64 classes. Is there some overlap? Yeah, there's some overlap. Like where some I'm like, okay, well, I guess you could argue that the power fantasy of this and the power fantasy of that are relatively close to the same or whatever. But still, it's going to feel very different. You're going to feel very different if you're a fighter using Blitz and you're running through the field with your sword like this, or you have a mage thing and you teleport over there. and start hitting with a sword. Now you feel like a spell sword as opposed to a fighter, right? So my guess is he's going to say something like, "There's going to be flavor changes, but there will be significant changes, and we're going to make sure that we fulfill the power fantasy or the class fantasy or the something along those lines." That's my guess.
So, yeah, I mean, I really like that point that you're making about how those classes are so similar, but yet they're still called three separate classes.
And you don't notice it
everyone's
all
fine
when you're
with
playing
that.
them.
Yeah, right. Dude, I'm excited for that video. I think you should have made that video already. But hey, now with the hype getting back again, you'll probably get more more views on it if you release it sometime in the next month.
Yeah.
Or, let's be honest, in the next 9 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So Steven said that with the augments, some of them are just flavor changes.
Okay.
But some of them are significant changes, and that legit change, like have meaningful big change. So I loved hearing that answer, right? Because it's a realistic answer. If he were to just say that, oh no, every augment is huge and it changes everything, it's like, really?
Yeah,
Really?
right.
Because then you start entering a comparison area where, there is a gradient. No matter what, there's going to be a gradient of big change to little change. And he pretty much just said that there will be some big ones and there will be some little ones.
That's exactly what I expect. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It was a real answer. It was fantastic. And I think, so in my last video, I don't know if you watched it, Dylan, but my last video, which I hope you watched, but I don't know if you did, I had that circle with the line in it, and it said cleric in the middle. And I said that every augment or however you augment your character doesn't need to, that in and of itself doesn't need to make a huge change, but it moves the needle just a little bit one direction, right?
Yes.
And then you augment the other abilities just another little direction, and by the end you're in a completely different spot than when you started.
Yes.
And so that will create the classes. And honestly, 64 classes, it might end up being more than 64 classes because you have so many active abilities that you can augment with racial stuff. You can augment with your societies. You can augment with, the secondary stuff. There's so many ways to customize your class. You might even have, in effect, more than 64 classes.
I don't know about that, but
I do.
Well, the reason I say that is because of everything that I said previously, that the class isn't so much about the abilities, it's about the feel. It's about the power fantasy.
Yeah.
It's about the class fantasy. So a necromancer is going to feel like a necromancer. You're going to feel like you're rezzing things and using them in battle, or however. We don't know how the necromancer is going to work in Ashes, but whatever. It's going to feel like a necromancer. A dreadnought's going to feel like a dreadnought. Even though you may swap some abilities around, you're going to feel like a big hulking knight because of the visual and the sound effects that they put with your abilities, which is, again, that's all they did in in SWTOR. They took 3 classes, all 3 of them have a gap closer, and they just made the visual and the sound look different, and now all of a sudden you think those 3 abilities are different. They're not. So I think that you're going to have the 64 classes because you're going to be filling that class fantasy. I want to be a spell sword. I want to be a blade dancer. I want to be a sword and singy song guy. There you go. But I see your point too.
There will be subclasses. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Just different specs of those classes.
Right. Exactly. So like if I'm a spell sword, that's great. That is good.
Oh, Swish! It's always good when you stop by, man.
But like if I'm a spell sword, which is I think fighter than mage, like the blink charge example, right? Everyone's like, oh hey, it's just you're just changing the type of charge, bro. That's a huge difference.
Yes.
And I gave the example I bespoke. If you're on point, because also what was discussed is that and this was in the Voices of Vera Stephen interview, was that the castle sieges will have point control mechanics.
Yes.
There will be, you with your team
did in Alpha
stand
1.
on a point, then more people for more time than the other team, and you capture that point.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. So if you are a spell sword and you are sitting on that point and you see the enemy has a back line and you're trying to get back there, your rush might get stopped unless you have a blink rush, which blinks you past all those guys. Boom, all of a sudden you're in the
Yes.
back line.
Yes.
Which, I mean, that's a pretty big deal.
It's a
and
big
has,
deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there will be sub-specs. There will be specs within each class, just like what you're saying, subclasses.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. I could definitely see that. Different ways that you go about playing your particular class fantasy. Just at some point one day it dawned on me that classes are more about the fantasy than the abilities.
Yeah, that's such a good line, man.
And it hit me so like a truck, and I was like, I can't deny this. And then I started thinking about it from the perspective of the DPS classes, and I'm like, there's like maybe 5 different ways that people do rotations. Like, you got your chunky rotation, you got your rotations that are dependent on dots, you got your rotations that have dots but they have an ability that makes the dots tick faster. Like, there's a few different ways, but all of them kind of comport within that. And then there you go, you're all, that's what you have. So I don't know, just that, like I said, that just one day that hit me, and I haven't been able to unthink that ever since. So
I'm looking forward to the video. And then last point was that getting from level 1 to 25 will take about 100 hours.
Okay, so this is the Narc unhinged.
So I think, yes, exactly.
Okay. So, let me ask you a question. 'Cause I can't find any corroboration of this anywhere. Narc said repeatedly during that video, where he was mostly talking about the Vladis interview, I think, about there being a wipe between Alpha 1 and between Phase 1 and Phase 2.
Phase 1 and Phase 2.
He repeatedly kept saying you're going to grind for 100 hours only to be wiped before Alpha 2 or Phase 2, and I have never seen that anywhere. If somebody could confirm that for me, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I'd love to see what chat says, 'cause I'm in the exact same boat.
Did Steven say that during that interview, during the Vladis interview?
Not during the Vladis interview that I know. I mean, unless chat knows otherwise, I did not hear that.
Yeah. Okay. Dude, that dude's lost the plot so badly. It's just wild. I will say this though, and this makes me like kind of smile a little bit. When I made my video about the Jalon drama back when the Jalon and Narc had drama, and I made my video about Jalon and kind of calling him out or whatever, I said to one of my friends, I predict that I'll be making a similar video about Narc in the future. And so yeah, anyways, 100 hours to level 25.
Yeah.
That's 4 hours per level. Did I do that math right?
Well,
I'm not a mathematician.
It's non-linear, so it'll be...
I mean, I understand that. The average would be... And it'd be... Okay, whoa, boy, now my brain is like, woo!
Right? Because now you think 26 to 50, right? Or 25 to 50.
No, I would suspect that 26 to 50 would be different. Like, they'll extend that out. Who did it say? Hagop 13 just resubbed for a second month, and I appreciate it, Hagop.
Oh,
good dude. So, but let's think about this for a second. You cannot have a situation where people don't get their first level, but really even like their first 5 levels without like within an hour or an hour and a half of playing, maybe 2 hours. Like those got to come fast. So now you're like stacking all those extra hours. There's what was it, like 20 hours there? You're stacking all that at the end now because of the like I feel like because you got to do 1 through 5 and 6 through 10 relatively quickly, that's going to mean 16 through 25 is going to be a long slog.
Right.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
In vanilla WoW, it was 1 to about 30 was X unit of time, and then from like 30 to 50 was the same unit of time, and then 50 to 60 was the same. That's how they scaled it. So that was, I mean, and that felt, and that made sense. I liked it. It was harder to get, like, I like with vertical progression where it takes more effort as you go on to gain just even a little bit more vertical progression.
I do want to acknowledge Hagop13 just gifted a sub to Tamo,
Oh,
so
let's
thanks,
go.
man. Appreciate it. Yes, that's got my mind racing. So one of the things I've been thinking about a lot lately is, man, I gotta quit my job. Like all I do is think about Ashes of Creation all day long, and now I got all this shit to say. You kind of have to marry up crafting speed or the leveling of crafting speed with and not only the leveling of crafting speed, but like how long it takes to do things with your leveling speed. So let me
Okay.
give you an example. Let's say that every time you mined a rock, there was a 1% chance of you getting like an upgraded version of that resource of iron,
Okay.
whatever.
Yep.
And so you're like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mine rocks until I have the 50 of those things that I need to make a great sword of the highest quality, whatever. Okay? So you go around and you spend hours and hours and hours and hours doing that. And let's say you spent 4 hours doing it, just for whatever. And then you start leveling, and you level 7 times and out-level your sword in 2.5 hours.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Okay? So you have to have it where, like, the rate at which you can make gear or acquire gear, whatever, is somewhat congruous with how fast you level.
And what's interesting, exactly what you're talking about was on the Yokai Envious Steven
Okay.
discussion. I'm not sure
Okay.
if you watched that
I
one.
didn't get a chance to watch that one. I wanted to.
Because think about, all of the effort that it takes at lower levels to make gear
Yes.
that's relevant for you at the time, when instead you just go kill a boar and then he drops a sword of that equal
Yes.
strength,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
The difference comes, though, because crafting is a long-term investment. Crafting pays off more at endgame than
Right.
it does at early and mid-game.
That's what Steven said?
No, Steven didn't say that.
Okay.
He should have. No, I'm just kidding.
If he was smart, he would have. If he was a
Just
doctor,
kidding.
he would have. Did I mention I'm a doctor, by the way? Just want to let y'all know I'm a doctor. No, okay, that's interesting
no,
that it's a
that
long-term
is-
investment.
Exactly. That's just the way I view it, right? I had Magic Pipe was my armor smith for me in New World, and you invest a lot in early game to be able to be one of those few at end game that is a pretty famous or well known on your server, a crafter of some sort, and it's really only it's a Pareto distribution, right? It's really only the top of the top that do super well making money, that have all the recipes, right? And what's interesting with Ashes, it's going to be even more so because they're doing recipe XP, right? So it's not just the fact that you have the recipe. Your crafts will be better on those swords the more you craft that exact type of sword.
Right.
So it's just making the Pareto distribution even steeper,
Right.
But it's also it's creating more graphs where there are still more ways to win, because it's like, oh, I might not be the best. Like I can't make 90% of the best axes, but 10% I can do the best axes in these categories, and so you can find niches better that way. And bro, I'm so excited for for this.
Yeah, I am too. The 100 hours. I'm a little shocked by that. Not really in a bad way. Like, I think that would have been my preference if you'd have asked me, how long do you want it to take? I might not have said 100 hours, but I'd have said a long ass time.
Sure.
I want leveling to be slow. I want it to matter. I've been saying forever that Ashes of Creation is a journey game, not a destination game.
Yep.
And so it's about that journey. It's about hanging out with your friends, like you said, hanging out with your buddies in Discord, and y'all are just at a grind spot, and you're just killing different things. But the difference being, hopefully in Ashes, a grind spot is not mindless. Like, you're having to be like, I'll CC that one when it comes in, and you do the, it's not just like, you're actually having to talk and communicate and come up with a battle strategy for each thing that you kill, or each group of enemies you kill, or whatever. So I would prefer that, but I think I'm actually shocked that they're doing it. I think that's what I'm shocked at, that they're like, yeah, we're gonna do slow leveling. It's gonna take you a minute. Also, because of the fact that it's only level 25, and there's the way they're rolling out content through the phases, you might not want a whole bunch of people after the second weekend running around at level 25 going, there's nothing to do.
Yeah, right.
So there's also that as well.
In an older live stream, Steven said that sure, people can rush to max level, but they will then find themselves wishing that they hadn't, because they will have missed infrastructure opportunities for themselves. He didn't come out and say exactly what he meant by that. My assumption was, though, that crafting skills, and because you get 2 artisan classes that you can be top tier in, and then also with node reputation and node currency. So a certain developer might have accidentally confirmed on someone else's live stream that each node has its own specific node currency. And that node currency will be used in part to buy a freehold. So if you are only focused on your character level and getting there as quick as possible, then you're going to ignore everything else, and you're not going to get a freehold. You're not going to level up your artisan classes. But if you do those things, if you do artisan classes, if you get the node XP, the node rep, and then the node currency, then hit end game, everything will start to flow for you. You won't have to go steps back once you hit max level. And so I think it will not be the most viable route to level your player character through your artisan stuff, but I think it will be important to do, even though it slows you down in your journey to max level.
Yeah. Umbrish just said this game should feel like a journey, not a speed walking marathon, and that's what I said earlier. This is a journey game, not a destination game. I've been saying that. I do want to point out one thing there. Earlier you referred to Magic Pipe as your bard.
Yep.
I believe in the past I've heard you refer to him as a pocket healer. Just a minute ago you referred
to... he was a llama. So he was one. He would protect the backline from the backline divers, and he actually started the IGVG meta as soon as the Void Gauntlet hit in New World. So that is
so I've heard you refer to him as a llama. You just referred to him as your blacksmith. You know what I never heard you refer to him as?
He's my friend.
Your friend.
You've
never said. I'm just trying to drive a wedge between you and Magic Pipe. I need a bard to follow me around. Damn it!
Inseparable, and he's good too. So sorry, man. You'll see him in my VODs. You'll see him. You'll see him dancing around doing, how the bard, how when they do the little dodge mechanic and the bard like slides back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
That's gonna be Magic Pipe. You'll see him sliding around the place, little flower petals popping around him as he's giving me buffs and debuffing. I don't know, whoever we're fighting at the time.
Oh, that's so funny. Mabari's like, Jerry. Sorry, Mr. Burns, the paternity testing turns out you were not Magic Pipe's friend.
Well, hey, if he can find a better healer, then sure, go right ahead.
There you go. That's funny. Oh man, I will probably look glitching from too much actions per second. Oh, look at you now. We're talking shit.
That APM.
Yeah, you got to get that APM up, which is a number none of us will know because the API
Ready
won't
to
be open.
serve, my lord.
Bro,
The Stranger Rivera, thank you for following. Appreciate it. Go ahead.
After so Magic Pipe stopped playing New World. A very wise man stopped playing New World a few months before I did, and so I had to leave because the board exam, and he quit sometime around there too. When I came back though after my board exam, and I joined this guild where, gosh, the guild leader was a healer, and his APM was super high. I mean, he was just like a million actions per minute. The problem is they were stupid actions.
Yep.
His positioning was foolish. The way that he like his group, his bruisers and his the people in his group would be like, "Hey, where are you? Why are you doing what you're doing? Come play with us." Yeah. Right? So, I mean, APM is only part of it. I talk about, I think in my scoreboards video, I would go into OPR. I would ask people ahead of time. OPR is just a battleground. In global chat, I would say, "Hey, anyone want a healer? Anyone want a pocket healer for OPR for battleground?" And dude, I mean, just everyone, yes, right? Like,
yeah.
Please. I'd get instantly like 5 group invites, right? Well, I would join the group, and then if I'd make sure it was someone that I didn't know, I would heal the crap out of them, but I would watch them the whole time and see how they did, right?
Yes.
Like, how's the APM? But more importantly, how's the vision? Like, how they play. APM is only, I don't know, a part of the skill eval, and but then I'd switch. I would cheese a little bit, right? I'd switch to a ridiculous build where it was like a single like person healer build, and so they'd be like, "Bro, your heals are insane," and then that's like, well, I'm cheesing this right now. I'd never say that. I'd be like, "Hey, come join the guild, and I train all the healers. So come get some good heals." But anyways, APM's only part of it.
No, it's definitely only part of it. It's going to be interesting seeing recruiting tactics like that. Like, that's a very similar recruiting tactic to what I used to do in SWOTOR. So one of the things I should tell you about my SWOTOR progression rating lead days, this whole thing all started on an RP server. And a small RP server at that.
Right.
And so, like,
and that's where the ERP started.
Yes. The talent level for ERP is through the roof. The talent level for raiding is not very good, right, on this server. And so just finding capable raiders, like we had people, I'm going to tell you straight up, we had people in our Nightmare raiding team, which is the most difficult raiding in SWOTOR, who had no business in Nightmare raiding. None. We were just dragging them, like just putting them in our backpack and carrying them up the hill. So one of my strategies was very similar to yours. If I was looking for a tank, I would heal in flashpoints, which flashpoints are basically dungeons. It's short, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. And I'd go to do more difficult ones, and I would look for ungilded people or even gilded ones who did a really good job. And then I would try to be like, hey, do you want to do the more difficult raids? Because everybody was scared of raids on this server. They act like the raids were the hardest thing in the world. And it's so funny. Or if I was looking for, if I was looking for a DPS, I would be a tank, because then I could really monitor what you're doing. Are you pulling too much aggro? All those types of things. So I did a very similar strategy. But I guess you didn't have that information, the DPS information in SWOTOR, so you never knew what they were doing as far as that's concerned, or their APM or anything else. You just kind of had to do it by feel. So I guess it'd be the same thing in Ashes of Creation. We're going to be doing dungeons just to see who's recruitable out there.
So Magic Pipe brings up a good point here. So 250 versus 250, positioning will be everything. Bro, how about Elsa's question in the Voices of Vera?
That's one of the ones I was going to get to.
Gosh dang, that was such a good question, such a good conversation.
Yes. I
loved hearing that. So what'd you think about the numbers, right? When he was talking about maybe 500 versus 500? What were your thoughts when you were listening to that?
So as soon as they showed us the dynamic server meshing, I said, assuming this works, they because they were like 95% done. They're like, we still in this 5%, so it's not like it's almost there. Assuming that works, 500 via 500s, I think. I've been telling, like, I have a couple of friends who are like big Call of Duty guys, a couple of guys I work with. And so they're
Yeah.
asking me about what I'm doing, and they're asking me about Ashes of Creation. They're interested, but they're not really going to want to play or whatever. And I've been telling them they're working on this thing that one day Call of Duty is going to be like war scale, thousands versus thousands kind of thing, because of this dynamic server meshing and the ability for projectiles to go across server boundaries and all that stuff. Not now, but in the future. So yes, I don't say I predicted that, but I mean that was my guess, was that was going to happen. And so hearing Steven, like, he didn't say we're 100% going to have 500 versus
Right.
500, but he stopped this close from saying that. Like, he walked right up to that line and like flirted with it a little bit, right? So I
My
think we're
question
going
is, how do they know that? Have they had 1,000 players doing stuff? Is I know, and I know you're testing, you can't really say much, but I am curious if in a smallish area, if they've had 1,000 real players, and I would be surprised if they have, but I mean, I don't know.
I can't speak to that. I can
Yeah,
tell you that
right.
in that answer, he said that they've had 300 players in an area
Wow,
and
big
1,200
difference.
NPCs.
Yeah,
running
sure.
their routines. Now, 1,200
Right.
NPCs running their routines is only half of the server pings, because you don't got to ping it both ways. You just got to ping it to the player.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, it's a really good point.
So that's 900 pings going on all the time, if you want to look at it that way. That's the
Sure.
300 players and the. So, I mean, but my guess is they can just look at it and extrapolate. They can take
Yeah.
what data they do have and extrapolate it out and say, well, once this works and once we get this dialed in, and oh my God, what's that word that they kept using during the live stream that I was like, what the hell is that, server worker, I think? What they kept using that word, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell the server worker is. But yeah, like, once they get all that like figured out, I think they know what it'll be able to do. But have they got 1,000 players in one place one time? I don't know. Maybe.
To pull a Jurassic Park, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Doesn't mean you should.
So,
Oh.
is it, if you're going from 250 to 250, from that to 500 versus 500, does that make for more compelling gameplay? The answer, nobody knows the answer right now, but I will be asking that question a lot, and that will be a big focus of my channel. Is the like, end game PvP stuff, right? Like, will it be more fun? I'm dubious, because it becomes a little bit more zergy. It's hard to control 500 people. It presents new challenges. Also, server-wise, max concurrent players on a server is 10,000 people. You're telling me that 1/10 of the server population at max concurrency is going to be in a single castle siege? And that doesn't include people who are wandering around kind of watching it too. So that
I
seems...
suspect that castle sieges are going to be instanced. In the past, they've said they would be. So that
I hope so.
That kind
But
of like
there has been conflicting statements
there
about
has
that,
been.
by the way.
There has been.
Yeah.
There has been. So who knows how that ends up playing out over time? That just may be the case, and it may not be the case. We don't know. Yeah, I'm trying to think. So have you watched much of the content related to the castle sieges during Alpha 1?
Not so. I mean, obviously the one that Intrepid put out. Yeah, I've watched that, and then I think Richie, I watched. He had some, but I haven't watched anything beyond that.
Okay, so they
125 versus 125, 130 versus 130, something like that.
I think it was something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
With no lag, by the way. Like, I ran around and had zero problems in all my sieges that I went through. The way they designed those castle sieges, I definitely felt like 125 wasn't enough to do all the things you want to do.
Oh, okay.
Because there was like a secret back door, because we got to fill all the holes. There was a secret back door There was 2 gates on the left and right. There was a gate in the middle. So you needed
Okay.
people to guard everywhere, all the different areas. Obviously,
Yeah.
there's the ramparts and there's the siege weaponry on the ramparts. You need people to be manning those. There was the dragon that multiple dragons, if you let the attackers go kill the dragons and get all those buffs, you had no chance against them. So you had to send people out to try to either kill the attackers from
do
killing the
that.
dragon or kill the dragons.
Okay. Yeah.
He has talked about instanced like
Yeah,
dungeon
little
or
small
raid type of
encounters.
content
Yeah.
that you would send people into. So
Yep.
maybe not 500 v 500, definitely 250 versus 250 felt to me like
Sure.
it would be more in line with doing all of the things that they are asking you to do or need to be done in a castle siege. So if they just expanded that, a bigger castle, more gates, add a few of these, control point things that you got to go out there and do, and make it where you got to split your defense, you got to split your forces in multiple different places. I mean, it could work, but you're right though that it is a question. Like, just because you can, does that mean you should? It's a good question.
Yeah. And the problem is when the server population starts to decrease, it feels bad, man. When you can't fill a war roster because the population is so down bad, you know your game is in a rough spot. And they're setting themselves up. If they go 1,000 people for a 2-hour siege, you're going to need to have at least 1,200-ish people because lag outs, people are going to have to quit halfway through, unforeseen circumstances. Dude, 1,000 people for 2 straight hours, bro. That's a lot. That's not even counting the lead up time to it, right? So, yeah, you're gonna have about 1,200 people to have a full castle siege, and then there'll be, I could see on the other side, people are like, well, you don't need to have a full castle siege, but it's like, man, if the game is designed to be able to have 500 versus 500. Everyone, that will become the gold standard, and everyone's like, okay, no, it needs to be 500 versus 500. That's standard. That's what we're trying to get. And yeah, I think for a server merge situation, I think 1,000 is too many, because if the difference between 1,000 and 500 people in a war, right, like that, or in a castle siege, that's a big difference in terms of server capacity. You could have a server at 2,500 players and have no problem filling up that war roster. But if you have 2,500 players and you have 1,000 slots to fill for a war, that's going to be rough. People are going to be running dungeons. They're going to be crafting. They're going to be AFK farming and whatever. So, yeah.
Hey, wait, AFK farming?
AFK, or watching a movie while they harvest, right? That's what I do. I'd be in Discord, I'd have some YouTube videos on, and I'd be like harvesting things, right?
Okay.
That's AFK farming.
Okay. I was like, wait, what?
Mentally AFK.
Yeah, mentally AFK. Boy, I've been there. I'm there a lot more here lately. Man, coaching 3 football teams. Bro.
I'll bet.
And all 3 of them have different offenses because the personnel is so different that I can't run the same offense with any of them. So I have to memorize all the offenses for all the teams. My brain is done. But yes, back to 500 v 500 and the idea that from a mathematical standpoint is that so I immediately went to like the fun aspect. Like, would it be fun to have 500 v 500? Would it just feel like a giant Zerg fest in the middle? And then I started thinking about the ways that Intrepid is already splitting people apart, whatever. But you're talking about it from the perspective of just math. Are you going to have 1,000 people that can dedicate 2 hours on a given night?
Right.
Now, keep in mind that the one thing that Ashes of Creation has going for it that was one of the biggest failures of New World. This was such a massive failure of New World. Those fucking wars should have been bi-weekly. Every 2 weeks there's a war. and then you get 2 weeks off, and then you wouldn't have had problems filling war slots because people have been chomping at the bit to do wars. But because you did them every other day, it was just non-stop war. It's
It
like
was
people got
4.
tired.
It was one every 4 days,
Was it 4
because
days?
they had invasions in between, and there was a 2-day window on each side. So yeah, it was max you could do was 4. I see what you're saying, and as someone who did a lot of wars, I would have hated that because that's the only reason why I played New World. I probably would have quit New World a lot sooner if they had fewer wars.
If they had fewer wars. Interesting.
Yeah.
But
that's just
I
me,
would say
though.
that you're the outlier on that. A lot of people were like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, I'm so sick of every, I got to be on all the time." Well, with these castle sieges, it's a month, bro. It's a month. People and you got to think about this.
The lead up to it.
The spectacle when like
Yeah.
the live streams, people live streaming their castle sieges.
Yes. The
People are going
shoutcasting.
they're going to show the shoutcasting. People are going to show up for these wars. They're going to be a big deal. So I don't think you're going to have problems filling rosters for these wars. Matter of fact, I would argue that they might be so fun and so engaging and such a big deal that on underpopulated servers, people will go create characters on those servers to fill war slots so they can be in wars. Maybe they're not good enough to be in the wars on the mega servers, so they're like, hey, look, I'll go down here and be in a war on the, on the lower servers or whatever.
Sure.
So maybe that's the thing. But yeah, that's very interesting way of looking at it from a mathematical perspective. Does that even make any sense? And then somebody else.
Feasible?
Is it feasible? Somebody else made a comment in chat that I really liked. Huff Money said, I think it would be really interesting if one of the 5 castles was 500 v 500. Then guilds choose if they want to compete for that one or go to a 250 versus a 250. So, or how about this? They're all 250 versus 250 when they have one metropolis node in their economic zone. But if they have 2, that makes it be 500 v 500.
Gosh, Zillan, that is awesome.
Yeah. If you have 2 metropolis nodes inside of a castle's economic zone, it's 500 v 500. Otherwise, it's 250 versus 250.
Dude, I love that idea.
Matter of fact, and because some of them can have 2, that means one can have none. If you have none, it's 125 versus 125.
That's right. Sure. Dude, that's cool.
Yeah. So there you go. Azurhai says, what about the leveling time? We talked about that earlier. I think both of us generally agree that we don't really have a serious problem with it. I'm a little bit one of the things that I keep thinking about, I think about this all the time. Man, WoW players are in for culture shock.
Yeah.
This game is so far departed. You know how different WoW and Ashes of Creation are? They're as different as chocolate and strawberry ice cream. That's how different they are, okay?
Yeah.
And WoW players are just like, oh, I see what I was getting at too. But yeah, I think WoW players are like, they have, they're going to be in culture shock when they get here. And I'm talking about the ones that are like steeped in WoW. But anyways, Azurhai was referencing how long it take to level in regards to someone going on, and it would absolutely be an investment. But think about it from this perspective.
I know. Honestly.
There you go. I know some people, because I was a SWTOR guild raid leader, that they were good. They were good players. They weren't outstanding players. They weren't top 5% players. Maybe top 10%, but probably like top 15% players. Like they were, better than almost everyone, but they weren't like nightmare level raiders. And so, especially as my team got better and better and better, and our skills got better, and we got better people and stuff, there was a cutoff. Like, I just couldn't take you with us because you're not good enough yet. And those people would drop out of the guild and go join a lesser guild that would never clear anything in order to get to do nightmare level raiding, even though they weren't actually going to clear the raids, just to be in there. And I think that's the same thing. You're good. You're good at the game. You're a good spell blade, whatever.
Sure.
But you're just not in that upper echelon, or maybe your nose isn't brown enough yet. And so you don't get to be in the wars, and you're like, I really want to be in the wars. That looks fucking amazing. And so you're like, you know what? I'm just going to go level on server X, because I heard last time their war was like 202 versus 196 because they couldn't even fill the roster spot. So I'm jumping over there. And yes, leveling time is a deterrent to that. But I think, where there's a will, there's a way.
And can I let you in on a dirty little secret that it is more about the reps than it is natural ability? And we saw this play out a million times in New World, because you get, so my guild, we did okay at first, and then kind of mega guild formed and just dominated us. But they were so good that anyone that would go to fight them, it wasn't a competition. Neither side really benefited from the wars. So what we started doing was we fought everyone all the time, no matter what, any place, anytime. We got so many reps in, and we're getting more reps than the other guys, that we started to catch up to them. And we had the last war against these guys. We did very well. We were like one tick away from catching that third point, and they were like, "Oh, we're going to transfer so we can have better competition." We're going to leave. It's like, nah. And then later, one of the guys admitted it was because we were catching up to them. Jack said, he's like, "Yeah, no, Templar would have passed us." It is. So if you have another character on another server, which I plan to do, it's to get more war reps so you understand the intricacies of it. It's just practice. Practice makes perfect, right? Mm-hmm. And that's getting those reps in is going to be key. And honestly, that's partly why I'm in Ethereum, because I think that we will be a very serious war happy guild, and I want the reps.
You want the reps. That's interesting. It's wild. Every time you and I talk, we have so much in common. Personal life, like we have conversations, we agree on almost everything. It's crazy. But you are so much sweatier than me when it comes to PvP. I'm like, we're going to go out there and fight some people, and if we win, great. If we lose, whatever. We'll fucking get our experience debt back. And, like, I'm just not that sweaty when it comes to it. And it just makes me laugh that we have that one, like, really hard difference.
Well, yet. Right? Yet.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we get in here and I'm like, oh, I see. Oh, y'all want to play now? And then I'll be like,
I think that will happen.
Does Ethereum have room?
or you're like, hey, what strategy are you using? What's your composition?
Yeah.
Like what? Yeah. I guarantee that's going to happen.
Yeah, definitely. Auxiliary says, is body collision still a thing? I'm not seeing it really in the past streams like I did in Alpha 1. I think they've said the body collision's a thing, and that you're going to have to use stamina to push past people. Is that not something they've said? I'm pretty sure.
That's a good question. I'm sure chat knows.
E-Ross says, I love both your content, by the way. Thanks, man.
Thanks, bro.
Stick to the end of the stream, because I have a something I want to talk to all of you guys about in regards to Ashes of Creation content, and my content in particular. But I do appreciate it. Body collision still exists, but it's super small hitboxes. Okay, interesting.
That's good to know.
I wasn't actually sure, but I do know that you're going to be able to use stamina to push past, which to me, I've always thought body collision needs to exist in games, especially MMOs, especially PvP MMOs, because that way you can like have a line, a battle line or whatever,
right.
But then you can use that to like grief people that are trying to run out of a dungeon, and you're blocking the exit to the dungeon and whatever, You can grief people.
Then flag up and fight, buddy.
No, you're trying to run out because you're being chased by shit. That's why you're trying to get out.
And if someone's blocking me, hey, I'll fight you.
Yeah. Mobtech says, what about dodging? I believe dodging is in the game. I think they've shown that a couple of times before.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and that uses stamina as well, so you can't be dodging a lot and running through people at the same time.
Yeah.
Gotta earn it, Magic Pipe says. You could see it in the Firebrand vid. Okay, interesting. So I have one last serious question to ask you regarding the nice interview. Do you think that after the interview, Steven set down his headset
I know exactly what
and
you're going to
said, "Margaret!"
ask.
and are nice and no one in any kind of trouble after the mini game.
After the tier list.
After I'm sorry, yes, the tier list.
Yeah. No. Steven's such a good sport about stuff.
Yeah.
Although I don't think there's going to be another tier list like that.
I don't think so either. Like I wonder if Nice and No One are going to get another interview. I sure hope they do because they did a fantastic job.
It was a wonderful interview. I guarantee they do.
But yes, the no tier lists like that are going to get approved for sure. So my next question: do you think that Steven was making a bigger deal out of it than was necessary?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know what his personal connections are in the industry, and so, he added so many caveats to things.
Yeah.
And we got Bill Trost just joined Intrepid a year ago or whatever, and apparently everyone loves him. But he came from New World, right? And what's interesting is there are so many good people at companies that aren't doing good things necessarily, and I think it might have put him in a hard spot in terms of like talent acquisition.
Yeah.
Because he's just kind of crapping on the game that these people have been working on forever to make.
Yeah.
So that's probably why he was trying to be so political, because he wants to acquire their best talent. Because what's interesting, it's not just filling a role, right? It's not just like, oh, we have a spot for an engineer. Let's hire someone with a heartbeat that can sit in a chair. No, there's wide variety in talent, ambition, work skill of these people. So he wants the best of the best. And I wonder if he felt a little hard with that. But I mean, whatever. Hey, if Margaret's going to allow it, then it was allowed. So
yeah. You kind of swayed me a little bit there, because I went into this with the opinion of like, it was very clearly like for fun. It's silly. Yeah. It's a blind list, so he doesn't know what's coming up next.
And the blind part makes it pretty much absolves him, right?
In a lot of ways, yeah. It's not like he just sat down and was like, I think this one, and then this one, and then this one. No, it's like I didn't know what was coming next, so I had to like. Part of me is like that, but you are right that his friends in the industry, and they could be like you said, like, I worked really hard on that, and I thought I did a good job, and we were proud of what we put out, and you're like putting that at 10 on a list of 10. Thanks a lot, Steven. So I guess you convinced me. Swiss says, can confirm pulse is a basic requirement to work at Intrepid. Confirm a pulse. Interesting. You have to be alive to draw.
I thought he did too.
He navigated the minefield. Yeah, I thought he did. Yeah, for the most part, it was just fine. Like the only thing on there that I was a little surprised at was how rapidly he just said, yeah, put New World at 9, and I think he'd have probably put New World at 10 if he hadn't already put Star Citizen there. Like, he was just like, yeah, New World go to 9, no problem.
That was so funny.
Yeah. But he did make sure to point out the good points of all of those things. So, definitely.
And then he said very matter-of-factly what was wrong with New World, and he was right.
Yeah, he was 100% right. He nailed it.
He absolutely got it. Content is king, baby.
Yeah, and it was funny that he did a really good job at the end of making it silly and fun by being like, and if any of you guys want to message me, anybody in the industry, you're making a game, you want to message me and you want advice on how to get it done, message me like a joke, So I thought it was really good. And Iraj points out it taxed his knowledge and showed his depth of the industry. And yes, he definitely knew about everything except for Star Citizen. He was like, I haven't really played Star Citizen. Before I get into what I want to wrap up with, do you have anything else that you wanted to, any other topic you wanted to broach today?
No, man. I think we talked about. I think we covered it pretty
I
well.
think we covered it pretty well.
Yeah. I've got. I'm working on a video that'll be out. It's a copium clinic video for this week. It's a little bit of systems talk, but a little bit of Then I talk with Alec for a bit of it, and then kind of a little fun montage at the end. But yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Just in case anybody watching here doesn't know who this man is, this is Dr. Burns from the Copium Clinic YouTube channel. Go over there and you should be able to click it should be clickable on this video. And go over there and give him a follow and watch it for what I would argue is the best Ashes of Creation content that you can get right now, in my personal opinion.
Thanks, man. For now.
So yeah, for now. Yeah, well, yeah, you got 1 week, buddy. Enjoy it. You all ending. I just poured a beverage. Oh, we got it. We got a few more minutes here, especially if the chat has anything in particular they want to talk about. I don't have anywhere to be, so we can talk about whatever. So I do want to address something that's been on my mind a lot lately with the community and with everybody who watches, especially those people who are showing up to these live streams, because you guys are like the core ones. You're the ones that really watch my content and follow what I do. For the last...
Ready to serve, my lord.
Oni Gowdy, thank you for the follow. For the last...
Goody.
Yeah. My bad. Oni Goody. For the last 4 years, I have built this channel. It's all been leading to this moment, essentially. When I first started this thing, the entire point was to have a built channel. By the time I got to Alpha 2, by the time Alpha 2 got here, I thought Alpha 2 was going to be here a lot sooner. I don't think I would have done this. I don't think I would have started this journey when I started it if I thought it was going to be 4 years from then. But I built this channel making speculative content for Ashes of Creation. We're looking at the systems and saying, I've played this game and it had this similar system and this is how it played out. And I played we analyzing the game and speculating on the game systems. And we've had a lot of fun doing it, and I was fairly successful of it. 2,700 people, 2,700 of you guys decided to click the subscribe button, which just still blows my mind to this day. And I don't know what's wrong with all 2,700 of you, but you did. But all that has to change now, and it's weird, man. My content, like Erod a minute ago mentioned, I love you guys' content. Well, I got to be honest with you, man. You might not love it anymore. Because the type of content that I've been making is not what I'm going to make. Was never what I intended the channel to be. I intended the channel to be guides, tutorials, walkthroughs, build guides, like that type of informational content about the game. We just haven't been able to play the game for me to make the informational content. And I'm fully aware that a good portion of you, and I would even say a lot of you who are like really hardcore in Ashes, you're not going to want somebody telling you, here's the meta, follow the meta. You guys are like anti-meta. Somebody else said, suck my meta dick or something earlier on in chat. I forget what they said, but I forget what it was. You guys aren't going to want to follow build guides. And this is how you get your first mount and, whatever. And so I want to, number one, on it sincerely, thank you guys for the last 4 years. You guys have supported me even when I have there's 6 people who've been subscribed on my Twitch channel, so paying $5 a month for 37 months since Alpha 1. And I might have gone live 50 times in those 3 years, and that's a huge maybe. So the support has been incredible, and I really, really do appreciate all your support. If you are the type who doesn't want to watch guide content, I want to let you off the hook. I want to tell you it's not going to hurt my feelings at all if you see the unkillable tank video and you're like, I don't play tank, and if I did, I wouldn't want him telling me how to do it, so I'm not going to watch that video. You're not going to hurt my feelings. So I want to let you guys know if you guys move on from the channel now because it's not the same thing and the type of content has changed, it's not a big deal. Will forever be grateful for the past 4 years and everything that we built together. So that's all I have to go. Mabari says, will you stream? Yes. I don't believe I will be live the moment the servers come up for Alpha 2. Again, I haven't 100% settled on that yet. But yes, I'm going to stream, but I will not stream as much in the early days of Alpha 2 as some other people will. I'm going to be making YouTube videos. That is the plan. I want to provide, like, so how do I explain this? I feel like as a streamer, I'm like a 6 out of 10. Like, I'm not the worst streamer in the world, but I'm not super entertaining. I'm not going to have you laughing your ass off all the time. I'm not a sweat lord that's going to be kicking everybody's ass. Like, there's not a, like, you know, but as a person who can convey information and who can distill complex information down into easy to consume chunks and present that information in a way that's easy for people to consume, I think I'm good at that. And so that's what I want to lean into what I'm good at. So doing that is I want to provide information and of things of value. That's why I haven't made videos. Every time I come up with a video idea, they're great video ideas, and I would have gotten my 2,000 to 4,000 views that I get on every video that I post. I'm like, there's no value in it. You're not learning anything. You're listening to me run my fat mouth about whatever it is I think. So yes, I appreciate you guys for the last 4 years. And if you find other creators who are doing that type of, like, I mean, I suspect Burns will always do the deep analysis work. That's going to be his wheelhouse.
What I'm planning on.
And so yeah, that's where you should get it. That's where you should get it. The endless content you got coming to you is great. Every time they rebalance, you have a new meta. I know that's one of the things is once this opens, once these floodgates open, it is literally endless content, and it's endless valuable content from Friday on. I need to make it one more week. Don't let me die in the next week. I've been building for this.
I can't believe we're finally to this point now. It's worth celebrating.
Yes. Mr. Noob Tax, it says guides are still good because there's still good info to be had, especially with things like synergies between abilities, etc. And that's what I want to do. That's exactly, like, here's the irony, guys. You can ask Mabari. Mabari's in chat right now. I get legitimately mad at my friends when we are playing games together and they go look up guides for the game. I don't want you to look up I'm the guy that's like, I don't want you to tell me how to play the game. I'll fucking figure it out for myself. I'm that guy. But I also understand that there's a whole lot of people out there who do want the guides, and my time making SWTOR guides sold it for me. Like, the popularity of those guides was through the roof, and I was like, oh my god, I'm actually good at this, and I actually feel
those are
like
your most viewed videos, right? Except
for my Ashes as a Scam video.
Okay, got it.
Yes. And you got to keep in mind that SWTOR it's a tiny audience. Like, yeah, it's a tiny audience. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys. I mean, that's really what it gets down to. I really do appreciate. Zilla needs your Medi videos so you can kill the Keta? I don't know what that means. Man, I couldn't get into live stream just now. It was broken for you? What? Are you guaranteed a spot in Alpha 2 if I buy today? Cashed just said. Cashed 333. Cashed, you can buy into the Alpha 2. You are guaranteed a spot, but it is 2 weeks after the start of Alpha 2. So November 8th is the first day. For that. Let me be a high quality, really good streamer and give you my referral code. Because, yeah. So you can click on that link and go there and use my referral code if you want. If you haven't done it already, I would appreciate it. And I will let you guys know my plan, if they will allow me. If the stuff that you buy on the cosmetic store can be traded to other players, My plan is to spend all the referral money that I get for the referrals, giveaways, giving cosmetics to my watchers. I hate cosmetics. I will never wear them. If I can't give them to people, the money will just sit there. I will not wear them. So there you go.
I hate cosmetics too, and I hate that this game will force me to use them to conceal my armor. I hate that.
I don't.
I would pay extra money to not see other people's cosmetics so I can actually see their armor.
Yeah, I mean, they've said repeatedly that it's you can only attach it to certain things. I actually think it's going to be restrictive enough that at the very least you're going to know that's heavy armor.
Oh yeah, and there's going to be the buff above someone, but bro, like if I see a Carfin set on someone, I'm going to know generally what the range of stats and the perk pool, I'm going to know what that is. So when I'm fighting them and they haven't used a certain ability yet, I know it's going to be coming. But yeah, I still like to see what people have.
Yeah, I got you. I understand. Rive says he's going to have his guide to poop socking out on day one. So that's good. You guys go check out Rive Genesis on YouTube and
Twitch.
Oh man, Rive, it's so funny. I love how you and I have talked, so you know that I don't mean this in a bad way. You've taken a weakness and turned it into a strength because you have a very dry delivery.
Oh yeah,
a very dry personality. It's very like matter of fact or whatever, and he's found a way to like make it a thing and make it into a strength, and I love it. I love that he's done that. And so yeah, you guys go check out Rive's content if you want to laugh at the nonsense. Rive's got your back. He also is organized to the nth degree, and so he has documents on everything about this damn game, and he's gonna be one to follow if you want to really dig into the nitty gritty. So yeah, definitely. Mr. Noob Texas says I'm wearing that Nunya gear set, Doc. Nunya business.
Yeah. Dude, that's so good.
Nunya business. Oh. Erod says I feel shitty for having that terrible set when they opened it with the C content.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think the one when they reopened the Alpha 2 packages or Alpha 1 packages, which is the one that I have. Arrived Genesis, the king of sponsors, yes. Great to you by Big Ass Horns. Thanks, Big Ass Horns. Oh God, it's so good. It's so good. So, is there anyone else streaming?
Dogly.
Oh yeah, we can rate Dogly for sure.
Chat, friends, thanks for coming, guys.
Yes.
Nice hanging out with you.
Yes, it was fun hanging out with you guys. 1 week.
Crazy.
And then we will be in Ashes of Creation, live streaming, making videos, making poop sock guide videos, all of it. It's going to be awesome. All right.
I think you should put a urinal in your office. Or you could cap yourself.
Do you mean clean the urinal that I have here? Or put one in? Because that's... I do try to keep it clean, though.
You like start pulling up like a bunch of pee bottles. You're like, hey, this counts, right?
Just under the desk.
Yeah, right.
Rive says my gaming chair is a toilet. bro, my feet, my legs would fall asleep. I'll tell you what, that's a lesson I learned later in life. I don't know if there's a coincidence here, but right about the time that smartphones became a thing, I learned that if I sit on the toilet for more than about 7 or 8 minutes, my legs fall asleep. I don't know if there's any correlation between those two things, but it's right about that same time that smartphones started to become a thing.
Dude, that's great.
So that's pretty funny. All right, guys, we're going to go over and raid Thogly. You guys make sure to give him all the love. Fantastic creator over there. Thanks a lot, guys, and we'll see y'all next Friday if we don't put out videos between now and then.
GG's.
1 second. Here we go. All right. Bye, y'all.